evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat right here on Pram FM 105.5. We are also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Again, just tap Nighttime Heat, the three words, and of course, you're going to follow the show online. And of course, you can also share the show. Wanted to share tonight edition because it promises to be very, very intriguing. So please make sure to share the show. We are also streaming live on the Pram FM Morovia 105.5. Again, Pram FM Morovia 105.5. So we are streaming live on three major platforms. This program is being relayed by Radio Gegema, that is in Limba County, Kwatika Dembonk, and of course, Radio Wodogisi in Lofa County, where our dear president, Joseph Yumaboka, hails from. So tonight, like I said, it promises to be very rewarding, information-wise, and of course, entertainment-wise as well, because I know you're going to get some nice flavor tonight. Coming at you, even if you're not feeling happy. But tonight will make you, joyful. Just make sure don't go anywhere. Get glued to your radio or your phone or laptop. Share the show tonight. It promises to be very interesting. Tonight we'll be looking at, the president, His Excellency Joseph Yumaboka, has named a new interim management team at the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency. Is that team really up to the task of fighting the drug war? We'll be looking at that tonight. Besides, the Arson case has resumed. Just on the day the case resumed, the defense lawyers filed a petition asking the court to reschedule, because we'll be looking into that. Why did they ask the court to reschedule? And of course, also the GOL, that's the government of Liberia, it's assuring also for addressing the bread and butter issue. Is it true? We'll have a video, and of course, a video of the Minister of Finance, the man who turns the wheels of the economy. He'll be telling us as to how is the government addressing the bread and butter issue. And of course, my guest and I, along with my panelists, will talk about that. So more coming up on the Nighttime Heat. Don't go away. Sabo George is my name on this beautiful Friday. We'll be right back after the same.
0. Let's start.
And of course, we are starting already. One of my panelists, George Kennedy, just walked. George Kennedy, rather. I walk with George Kennedy, so every time I hear George and Kennedy just comes in. But Kennedy just walked in. Kennedy, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sabo. Mr. Kerry is one of our veteran journalists.
Oh,
so,
sure.
Yeah, you should know him very well. So, yeah, he's my big brother. So, thank you, Sabo. We are here tonight again to see how we can help contribute to the enlightenment of the society. And I want to say thank you to our technicians and to the general public for listening.
Yeah, sure. We really appreciate that. You always sacrifice to come on this program and enlighten our people as well. Moses will be joining us very shortly. I'm sure very shortly Moses will be joining us. But we got a couple of things to talk about. As you're quite aware, the president, just after our program the next morning, we heard about the dismissal of the entire batch from the LDEA, and the president appointed a new interim management team. So tonight we'll try to figure out, along with our guests, as to whether the team does have the capacity, whether the team can really fight the war against drugs and narcotics and other substances. We'll be looking at that tonight. And also, there are some cases involving the former House Speaker for Nanti Kofa and others, resumed yesterday, with the defense team, filing a petition for rescheduling of the case. We'll look at that as to why. And also, we'll be looking at, the Minister of Finance and Development Planning held a mini press conference yesterday, and he was able to simply put the government's effort at addressing the bread and butter issue. And so we'll be playing that tape, and also we'll be looking at what some of the things that the minister said. When our guests come in, we'll all be looking at that. But in the meantime, what's been trending on your mind, apart from the three issues, major issues we'll be talking about?
Yes, I was particularly surprised for one, Mr. Kishen. He's a stalwart. He's based in the U.S. He's a stalwart of the ANC, and I saw him going live, and he was praising the police director or the police inspector general, and said that he's a professional man. He's trying to be as independent as he can, and he's not partisan of any party. I think it's a good message from the opposition arm, because it will help to strengthen public trust in the police force. And once that is done, the issue of law enforcement will be easier. So when it comes only from the government angle, critics of the government, this individual is very critical of the government. But today I was very, very impressed with his podcast when he said that. Another thing is, I think I also followed the DEA officials, some of them in one community. I think it's in the Ghanaville area, gas lighting a building. They said, drugs addicts and drug dealers were living there. There was a hard up for drugs addicts. I thought that, yes, it is true. We should fight against the menace, but I don't think we should go about destroying properties. Let's face the reality. They're working very hard. They shouldn't be the one burning houses or whatever building that it is. They should try hard to get to the owner of said property to make sure that they take care of all the government going to seize it instead of burning. But they've been doing well, really.
Well, I think what caught my attention, apart from the three major issues we'll be talking about, let me read this quickly. United Party, Youth Congress condemns Minister of Internal Affairs for undermining presidential appointment. Snapper Hill, it says the ruling United Party, Youth Congress, has strongly condemned the Minister of Internal Affairs and his board of registrars for demoting F. Alfonso Belle from his presidentially appointed role at the National Identification Registry. According to them, Belle was appointed Deputy for Administration by the President on February 20, 2024, but was reassigned to a lower-ranking position without proper authority. The Youth Congress stated that only the president has the constitutional power to make such high-level government appointments, and the minister Yimade's action is an illegal overreach that disrespects the rule of law and the president's authority. They demand the minister and his board immediately before Belle to immediately restore Belle to his original position of his organized resistance. They further warned that this is not merely a personal matter, but a dangerous power grab rooted in corruption terming the minister's action as nepotistic. Meanwhile, the ruling Unity Party Youth Congress also calls upon the president to intervene swiftly and uphold the integrity of his appointments. They affirmed their unyielding support for fairness, justice, and merit-based public service in Liberia. Did you hear about that?
I read it. I knew that you're going to bring it up. I didn't want to come. I didn't want to be the first. I think they are right. If all the president did appoint Mr. Bele, I don't think anyone else should demote him, because the fact is, when the president has the constitutional authority, as they say in a statement. Certain thing about the Unity Party that sometimes can be very, very attractive. That is this issue. It's been trending for some time. They've been making the effort behind the scene, and they've been seeing it happening. So they decided to go public because it's difficult at times to see the president, and that's why we're talking about breaking that circle. And, the youth wing was not going to alarm if those around the presidency was giving them the kind of direct access for them to put this matter forth. So I know they've been making some effort, and this is good. But to say directly that the Minister of Internal Affairs, he's not the only president over there. If you say the board, it will be all right. But to say he alone, I don't think he alone has the power to do such.
No, I think they say he and the board.
So I mean, his name coming up, he's a board chair. I think we should be a little bit, we should be.
But is it true that this really happened?
That is why we're trying to find out. But I heard that he was appointed at the NR, before. So when I
this is a party, Unity Party. We can have some folks in the party at the loggerhead. It's not good for the stability of the party. And the individuals who are member of the youth wing, and they are very, very vital. Those are men and women who work in the rings and all of that to bring the president to power. So I think the president needs to do something to handle this issue. But again, something I want to also talk about, it has to do with let me see what I can get I can upload this press statement quickly from the office of Senator Dunking. And let me read this quickly. Office of Senator Creighton Dunking, Sando County, Liberia, August 28, 2025. It called for civility and substance. Response to Deputy Minister Sando's unprofessional remarks. The Office of Senator Creighton Dunking of Sando County issues this formal statement in response to the deeply regrettable and unprofessional public comment made by Deputy Information Minister Daniel Sando on yesterday, August 28, 2025. It is with profound disappointment that he addressed the Deputy Minister's remarks, which descended into personal attacks and rather than engaging in substantive debate on matters of national importance. The role of the Ministry of Information is to inform the public with accuracy and to foster dignified discourse, not to serve as a platform for launching malicious and defamatory remarks against elected officials. Okay, the thing is, I think Duncan came out and made some statement against the president. I think, according to him, there were some issues, that some observations I made, and according to what we heard and read, Deputy Information Minister Sando came out and said, what the minister said. It shows that apparently he has mental problem. He was very harsh in his words and all of that. But it claimed our attention because we think this sort of behavior or attitude bastardizes the Ministry of Information. I don't think we should always be in the position to attack individuals, personally, especially when they have raised issue. I don't know, this sort of this new trend or culture of defending our own by attacking individuals. I think we need to fine tune the way we do it. If you can refer to an elected official, and one thing I don't know what Deputy Minister Sando and others know is that the government is one body. Got the legislature, the executive, the judiciary. They are all the same. If someone in the legislature or even in the judiciary came up and maybe threw an attack or says something that the government, when we were in the university, studying mass communication, what we heard was that if someone said something about the poor performance of your institution, you don't go about attacking the person personally. You don't. What you do is that you say, look, you've said this, that we have not done this, but here are the facts. Here are the facts. Here are the data. Here are the statistics. This is what we've done. If somebody came out and said the government has not built roads, since the government came in, it has not built, look, provide the statistics. Then people will know, say, yes, the guy is really defending the government. But when you begin to throw invectives at elected officials, it means that you absolutely have nothing to say. That's what it means, that you have no substantial defense to put up against what the person has said. We need to eschew from the way we do or we defend, our own, our institution, and at the end of the day, we don't know that it brings the government to public ridicule. Sure. We got lots of international people around. If people begin to write in their international reports that our media people just they don't provide facts, rather throw insults at people, and tomorrow we start to defend it, or we start to deny it after it has been reported by international partners. We got to be careful. Yes,
I thought. What I heard, in fact, frankly, Senator
Duncan
was very immature in the way he addressed the president in his write-up. I read it, but in my mind, that didn't worry Minister Sando following his lead. Minister Sando is not suffering from intellectual impediment. He's very powerful intellectually. I know his pedigrees intellectually. I thought that he also have the platform to prefer.
But let me bring you back. You said something that I really want to know more about. And
he was demeaning the way he spoke about the president.
Okay, what did he say?
No, I couldn't repeat that here 100%. But he was demeaning as a journalist.
Did he use any insultive words?
That languages that when you express to your leader, they show disrespect, and he did that.
Okay,
frankly, and so I won't follow his lead to say what he said. I can't be. Minister Sando, I feel that he made a mistake. He shouldn't have gone the way he went.
Sure.
But mind you, Senator Creighton Duncan, who happened to be also a friend of mine for long, even though since he entered the house we have not seen. But the fact is, he's an opposition man. He's from the Congress for Democratic Change. He will say things to please his base. So is hitting back at him in that form and manner going to please your base, or try to into some of the members of his base to look up to you? That's the question, right? So I feel that we said it all the time, and I told Minister Sando, I said, look, some of these things sometimes just show the fight. Mr. Patrick Horner did extremely well in responding to him with just a video of someone in Sino County on the Dusty Road and showing the Dusty Road live on screen. And he said, with this road, technically I don't need quota in the rain season time. Car running here with speed, the road is perfect. Did Senator Duncan have that road like that in his county during his party's reign? The answer is no. He used to take almost 2 weeks to go to Sino County. So these are some of the ways you respond to such a person. So for me, I don't think he should have gone. Even the president himself, he always said, when someone insults me, don't go insult the president. And, so I think the minister should calm down small, respond to these things. I know his capability, he can do it. He shouldn't allow the moment of the day to carry him, to do who he's not, to do those things that do not represent him or the institution.
Yeah, sure. I agree with you. If somebody, but that's the reason why, as a communicator, it's like you put yourself above the fray.
Yeah.
Because the way others would speak and talk, you're not going to follow that lead. No.
You see, he asked me to say what.
You're not going to follow that lead.
He asked me to repeat what the senator said.
Fine. And he said, no, I'm not going to
I'm
do
not
so.
going.
So we expect more of that from our colleagues who are doing government communication. Again, it happened when Gonglo said a few things. I think he was critical of the government, of the delegation the government took to Japan. And again, Gonglo was attacked. We have to eschew from that. It shows that we are limited in our defense, of the government. It means it shows that we don't have the data.
Yes.
We don't know what the government is doing.
Or we don't have this skin. Or we don't have this skin.
No. Look, the best way, like you said, like what Patrick did, the best way to respond to someone, a critic of the government, is to provide the substantives.
Yes.
I
saw the video of the guy running on the car road up and down, on the Dusty Road.
But when somebody attacks, says something critical of the government, then you come and you hit them, hit them personally. So, but you ran for election, you didn't win. That's not the issue. The issue is what the man is talking about. If I were a government communicator and maybe a politician came out to say, the government took 50 presidents to Accra, it is my responsibility. I'm not going to attack that person personally, but it is my responsibility to say, look, yes, it's true that we took 50 presidents, but the reason for which we took the 50 presidents, 5 of those people will be meeting those in the agri sector, 10 of those people will be meeting those in the transportation. Just put it that way. Let me try to welcome Moses quickly. Put it that way, and then you'll be providing the substantive. Or somebody attack the government, and then you yourself, you go personally against it. I don't think. Let's hear from Moses quickly. Moses, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you, guys. George, it's a pleasure to be with the both of you. You know how I roll up my hand, Chris's schedule, but it is what it is,
I know. Yes, Moses. So we're just talking about the issue with the Duncan and Deputy Minister Sano.
So but let me speak to the Deputy Minister tonight. I think the Deputy Minister does not understand his TOR. He doesn't know his term of reference. And what is happening with our government is that when people are misplaced, sycophancy kicks in. This man was trained for law enforcement. He said it right on this show here. He's not a communicator. He has no background in communication. When I listen to him all the time, I did not want to embarrass him when he said he was spokesman for the community college when he graduated there. And then he was hanging around political parties, and he think that qualifies him now to be Deputy Minister of Information for Public Affairs. Absolutely not. So he does not know what it means to be a Deputy Minister of Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information. The role of the Deputy Minister of Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information is to promote government programs and policy, telling the positive stories. So coming back to the situation, what the Deputy Minister did, it is aparting. This man consistently insult public officials who disagree with happenings in the country. He insulted former President George Manuel Weah. He said the man has mosquito brain. He insulted Senator Amara Kone. He insulted Senator Edwin Snow. He calls a certain senator, referred to him, he said a man called Donkey. A man called Donkey. The man has mental health problem. Yes, look, it is true that the senator also was disparaging when he talked about the president. But Sando, you are Deputy Minister for Public Affairs. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It was shameful. I think it's time for Sando to go. Sando doesn't know what he's doing at that ministry. Let me stop there.
Except that I won't call for him to go right now. I will like for him to reflect and change gear. And the truth is, they got some media professionals who didn't study journalism and they became the best in the country. But the way they learn through the process, that's what makes them to become the best. So I think Minister Sando, all he needs to do is not to weaponize the ministry. He has an intellectual pedigree. He knows words. He knows what to say. He knows how to say it. But if you follow the pressure and you want to respond to things as they come,
the thing is, George, if I continue to say, and I repeat, if I'm a media person for the government, and somebody came up to say, look, the government took 10 persons to Ghana. You get what I'm saying? And the person is critical of the number. I will come up clearly to state to the president the reason why we took the 10 persons, and I will simply put it and express it well by saying, look, 3 of those persons will be meeting those in the transportation sector. We'll be having some sideline meeting. 4 of those persons, but I'm not going to attack the person personally.
Yes,
to say, look, that person is mentally ill. That you can do that.
That's a mistake.
And besides, Daniel is our friend. He has a long way to go. Some of us who read the Bible, the Bible says you should respect or honor your father and your mother so that your days will be long. You can abuse somebody far older than you because of some political difference. No, not because you're in government. So it gives you the audacity or the temerity to say, let me insult this person because the person has said something against the government. No, you can do that. And also look that there will be a future tomorrow. You're a young man. Tomorrow you can tell where you meet a Duncan. You can meet where you meet Senator Duncan.
Duncan won his seat on the Unity Party ticket.
Surely,
yes. A man.
So we're hoping that Daniel can adjust. He can adjust. You can do a government PR like that. And besides, if you continue you'll be, putting the government in bad book with the international partners.
It's true.
That, government people just insulting their critics and demeaning their critics and bad mouthing their critics. No, you can explain to somebody. You can tell the president as to what the government is doing. You can sell the government. You can market the government without insulting anybody.
Sure.
Without insulting anybody. So,
I agree.
he didn't, even if Donkey had said something that he shouldn't have, maybe against the president, that doesn't give you the right as a government communicator
to respond to him,
in kind.
Yeah.
Let's try. And similar thing happened. I'm told that I know we'll be joining our guest, but I'm told that we'll be playing that tape. The Minister of Finance did a brief press conference and a mini press conference, and was explaining about the government's effort in addressing the issue of the bread and butter issue. And one of our kind, he's not a journalist. Stanton is not a journalist. He's far below the belt.
No, he's not one of us.
And he began to rant against the minister when he knows absolutely nothing about the economy. When a minister that he can even learn from. I don't want to sound condescending, but he can even live with the minister.
Sure.
You can live with Minister Gafwan.
No,
to have gone the route to insult the minister, that was totally unacceptable. And then some of these things happening again, I blame the government that's supposed to give the PUL the teeth to bite.
Sure.
If that had happened, people wouldn't be abusing the airwaves. Like Meda Stanton would not have a radio station. He's not a journalist. And we're not going to have an individual who doesn't even know his subject verb agreement well, who doesn't even pronounce well, to just say something against good people, against statesmen, against stateswomen. No, we're not going to allow that. But again, the PUL doesn't have that teeth to bite. You listen to the nighttime heat right here on Pram FM 105.5. We are streaming live on our YouTube channel. Again, also on our Facebook page. Just tap, go to where they have the search, and you tap Nighttime Heat. That 3 words. As soon as you do so, you're going to follow the show, and we expect that you will share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow the show. So please make sure to share the show tonight. It promises to be very, very interesting. Tonight, we'll be looking at the interim management team that was appointed by His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai at the LDEA. Is that team up to the task? We'll be looking at that. And besides, also, we'll be looking at the Arson case. Can you imagine the case started and 6 days to the start? We understand was when the government released its evidence. So the defense team had to move the court to reschedule because so I mean we're going to look at that also, and of course we're going to play the tape, the interview conducted by granted by the Minister of Finance, explaining the government's effort in addressing the bread and butter issue. Yes, let me hear from you, Moses.
Yes, yeah, quickly. Let me just talk a bit about Stanton Witherspoon and the disparaging comment he made about the Minister of Finance. Look, so we all know that in the media we always say the medium is the message, meaning that if the medium is not credible, if the medium has integrity problem, the likelihood of the message also being distorted, the likelihood of the message not being true is extremely high, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at the man Stanton Witherspoon. I am on public record. It's in the papers, social media. I've done a couple of podcasts on Stanton Witherspoon. When Stanton Witherspoon was arrested for theft in the United States, I was the first Liberian journalist that called Stanton Witherspoon to recuse himself from Spoon Talk because he has integrity problem. How can a convicted felon sit on the talk show and wanting to delve into issues that have to do with integrity? He lacks that pedigree. He lacks the moral standing. When I called for his resignation, Stanton Witherspoon recused himself. He recused himself from the show. He went for almost 3 months before he came back. And to cut it short, what Stanton did, it was absolutely bad. If he disagreed with whatever that the Minister of Finance said, he should have come to state his position. What we're doing tonight, we did not come here to do public relations for the Liberian government. But we are being honest. We're calling a spade a spade. What Mr. Stanton Witherspoon did to Minister Gaffon is absolutely wrong. I mean, this is a man who sold 7,600 fake diplomats and over 140 million United States dollars from immigrants in this country. The man who engaged in a criminal act that had a propensity of endangering the healthcare system of this country. As a result, his properties were taken from him. He made a payment of $3.5 million US as a fine. As I speak to you, Stanton Witherspoon cannot leave New Jersey. The future of this man is in limbo. Anytime the U.S. government can decide to throw Stanton Witherspoon into prison, the man just waiting for time to go to prison. And this is the man who is publicly insulting our public officials. Stanton Witherspoon is nobody. He's a non-entity. You know, it's just so sad. Let me stop there, guys.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry, people. We discussed the Ministry of Information without us extending our sympathy to the minister.
Okay.
Who lost his sister. Yes, sister will be laid to rest.
Yes, I called him. For me, I called him.
Yeah. So, Minister, on behalf of every one of us, this station, this show, we want to extend our deepest sympathy to you and your siblings for your loss, and we pray that God will guide you people and will give you the strength in your time of bereavement. And yes, it's true. Stanton, look, if such a man is seen as a media guru in Liberia, buying almost all the stations and using them to pollute the public with some of his innuendos and fake information, then we have a problem. The President of Liberia must, I don't even say must be given the muscle by the government of Liberia.
Surely.
The authority to regulate the media. The media should regulate itself, not the government regulating the media.
No.
The government has done it for too long and failed. They failed because they have not been able to create sanity in the media, to hold journalists accountable without international intervention, saying that, oh, you're attacking journalists, press freedom, this, that. If the President of Liberia regulates itself and then proposing to you to shut down media houses, recommending to you to block Facebook pages for certain people who call themselves journalists are misbehaving, you will have the backing, the moral backing, and, to show that's what happened in Ghana, that's what happened in other countries. Yeah. But here the government wants to be in control of everything. The act creating the Ministry of Information gave them that power. Why don't you repeal that act and then allow the media to regulate itself through the President of Liberia? In that way, you will get very serious people, serious media professionals wanting to be PUL president. Because the PUL doesn't have the kind of power right now. Big professionals, senior professionals, they are members, but if you ask them for leadership, they say, why am I going to do that? I'm just going there to go criticize or this and that. Yeah. I won't get anything, and nothing will move. So let the government come out with a reform. Let the government come out with a reform. Give the president some authority through legislation to function. Give the president money in a budget. It's not bad. The president does not control the media contents. They don't control the contents of newspapers. They are only regulatory. They are only there to supervise, to make sure that we follow the code of conduct and code of ethics of journalism. That's the role of the President of Liberia. They don't go to any radio station, they say, air this, air that, or newspaper, they say, put this headline or since I've been in the media, I've never heard about it.
Okay, gentlemen,
Never seen it.
we got to move forward. Tonight we'll be looking at the new interim management team appointed by His Excellency Joseph Umaboka at the LDEA, that the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency. Is that team up to the task of fighting the drug war? We'll be discussing that. Few of our guests said they'll be joining us in 3, 4, 5 minutes. Also, we'll be looking at the ASUM case. The case has resumed. What's happening? Just on the first day, the defense lawyers filed in their petition asking for reschedule because the government submitted its evidence just 6 days. Why? Was the government delaying to submit its evidence? We'll also be looking at, is the government really addressing the bread and butter issue? We'll play a video. We have a video of the Minister of Finance explaining to our people, and then we'll also discuss that. But one of our guests who's in the diaspora, he's joined us tonight, Mr. James Koyo. Let's try to welcome Mr. Koyo quickly. Mr. Koyo, welcome to the program. Unmute, please unmute. Kindly unmute.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the program.
I want to say thanks to the entire team at Pram FM and the entire Nighttime Heat. Actually, grateful to be on the platform. It has been like almost over a year plus since I my voice been here on national media outlet like Pram FM. So I'm grateful that tonight we can talk about, especially I'm mostly interested in the issue of the current judge crisis. It's something that we need to talk about, especially where looking at government intervention. You mentioned the issue of law enforcement is key, but if we address this current judge crisis, it goes beyond law enforcement. We need to look at different areas of intervention by the national government, highlighting areas of intervention as it relates to if there's any immediate emergency response plan, if the government have a national strategy to address the current situation. We expect the government to address this particular issue as professionals and not in a fragmented manner, because if we continue to address it, like I always saying it, right? This particular issue of substance abuse is not a quick issue. We have to establish that. So I look forward to the discussion that we can be able to put some highlights on the issue of substance abuse, the bread and butter issue. These are critical areas that we can have a very unique discussion.
Okay, so I know this is your first, this is a debut, your first time on the program. Just tell us briefly about yourself, because I know the other guests.
Okay, so my name is James Koyo. I have worked in civil society and I continue to make impact in Liberia, although I'm away, through my organization, the Global Action for Sustainable Development, institution established in 2008. I went to the ranks and file of youth and student leadership, the former Secretary General of the Federation of Liberian Youth. And then I worked in society for a long time. I'm an addiction professional trained. We focus on evidence-based drug prevention. So I hold a postgraduate certificate in human rights and law. And I also been trained in evidence-based drug prevention and strategic intervention by UNODC and EU and ECOWAS. So over the years, I have worked specifically when it comes to substance abuse since 2014. Before the Ebola, I have actively been involved. I have worked in ghettos. I have worked in schools. And with the current situation, I want to say that we hold some expert opinions as it relates to how we can recommend to the government in terms of the direction we think we must address this issue. So overall, I have been in the society space for over a period of 10 years.
Okay, so let's welcome Mr. Oliver Wiese from the UAE quickly before we can go further. Our guests are joining us gradually. Mr. Wiese, welcome to the Nighttime Heat. Kindly unmute. Mr. Wiese, welcome to the Nighttime Heat. Mr. Wiese, welcome to the Nighttime Heat. Kindly unmute. Welcome. Mr. Wiese?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, fine. Kindly unmute. Welcome to the program.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for the invite. Thanks to your studio guests and panelists. Also, thanks to those who are listening in video line. I'm so glad to be here tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you also. First, let's hear from you, Mr. Koyo. Let's go back to the entire history since this government came into being. First, some nomination was made. They went for confirmation hearing. I'm making reference to the DA, A.B. Kroman, and the rest of them, the Fadigas. But then they had a short stay at the DEA after internal wrangling erupted and they were taken away from there. Again, there was an officer in charge, who was sent there. Christopher Peters. Again, after a few, I'm sure months after a few months, again he resigned. Just after he resigned, the president appointed Anthony Swore and others to steer the affairs of the DEA and help fight the drugs. Just recently, again, they were removed, and a new interim management team has been appointed. What is your reading in all of that? Let's hear from you first.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, firstly, I want to say that when it comes to the structuring of the DEA as it stands, I would recommend now that we have to have a complete overhaul. The DEA must undergo restructuring, as we saw with the AFL and that of the LDA, the LNP, I mean. So the thing is that it's not just the head. That's the mistake we are making, right? The entire system is rotten. So today you get someone from anywhere, even professional going at the LDA, you have even the least man who is a private is involved in some shady deals. It undermines the entire integrity of the institution. We've been hearing in terms of cartel, like in 2004, the UN issued a report that at that time Liberia was not a major transit country, but Liberia was vulnerable. After 10 years, Liberia became a major transit point. We saw the issue of 100 million drugs went to court here, right? So if we want to have an effective LDA, trust me, they must go through major restructuring. We must break the entire system down. Recruit fresh graduates from AMD that have criminal justice degree. Invite professionals to come to the LDA to work. Like we see, we have a professional army today because they went through major restructuring. We can boast of the EFL. The EFL is one of the best educated and skilled army we have in the region. So if we to just wrap up on this, if we have an LDA that we can trust, we will have a laboratory university that we can with integrity and accountability. We must go through restructuring. The point where we are is not just the we should go through restructuring of the entire institution, have a competitive vetting process from the layman to the highest up in terms of director general, deputy director general. So we saw him become he's a very professional man. Fadiga is also professional. Bauko, these are some of the best people we have when it comes to law enforcement. So what went wrong? What went wrong? We just saw the chief of operation who is not in the appointment space. A disturbing audio recording. That's not the first time. That's even not the second time. So to tell you that the system is rotten, so if we have an effective law enforcement when it comes to the drugs crisis, we need to restructure the LDEA. We need to restructure the LDEA.
So in other words, you are saying that we should dissolve the entire LDEA and not to just reshuffle. I mean, not to just overhaul, but we dissolve the entire stuff and bring in new people.
I don't want to use the word dissolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to have professional, we use the word restructuring. That is, we bring in more professionals. I will tell you, if you look at the security apparatus, you don't have to do empirical analysis to know that LD is one of the least in terms of professionals. The highest up will have some level of professional, but you look at the guys that are ready to do this, So we must sustain us like we did with the police today. The police have professionals. The army have professionals. We need to move that to the LDA. While we are in an emergency situation right now, we are in emergency crisis. We have a plan, a short-term plan that will look at how they continue managing the crisis. And it's not just in-house recruitment. We open it and we encourage professionals to go into the LDA. It's a very professional environment.
Okay, before I take leave of you, Mr. Coyle, let's look at because that's behind us now. The issue of Kumar, Anthony Schwartz, they are all history now. The interim team just set up yesterday by the president, appointed by the president. Looking at the team, 2 members from the police, the National Police, and 1 from the NSA. Do you think they have the capacity? Do they have the history in fighting drugs? Do they have the experience? Can that team perform over in time to come? Can that team really perform?
So right now, my expectation for the LDA is very low. I don't expect much. These are professional guys going in. It's a new environment for them. It's definitely going to take some time for them to be able to embrace themselves with the current reality as it relates to the workings of the LDA. And that is where the trouble comes in. Those guys that understand the system will do a lot of stuff, and they will not understand what's happening. They will just sit on the top, right? So the first thing is that they are appointed. They need a clear mandate. What they are going to do there? We know there's officer in charge. Why his mandate? Where are you going to take the LDA from where to where, right? So that's why I'm saying that we need a structural plan. So, let me just say something before we wrap up on this particular stuff, right? Like I said earlier, the lack of a national strategy to address this issue, we are not going anywhere. This is not a first quick thing. We need to look at it because the first thing, drugs is not like COVID or Ebola. It's not going anywhere. This is something that we must prepare to live with as people. We must prepare to live with it. That is why we recommend in time past that we need a specialized and dedicated institution, like maybe the National Drug Prevention and Rehabilitation Agency, set aside only to work on drugs issue, strengthening the LDA for law enforcement. Right now, as we speak, we're having the response is fragmented. You have a multi-sectoral committee established by the president. No one knows what the strategies are. What are they doing? We don't know. How can we address substance abuse? It's not just reading and collecting young people from the streets and carrying them somewhere that you're not even prepared for. What is our immediate emergency plan? Over 1 year, 8 months, 18 months, right? 18 months is a sectoral committee was established. We cannot be able to measure impact. What are they doing? And everybody just look at DLT. It's just one component, law enforcement. It's just one component, law enforcement. So if we will move forward as a people, the country, we need a clear strategy that we can now, from the crisis stage, we can work towards control stage. As a stage, we need to manage the crisis, we can move towards control. But if we don't have a clear strategy, we'll not be able to make progress as a people. We'll just be in cycle. And in the next 2-3 years, it'll be worse than what we're experiencing right now.
Okay, let me go to my panelists, Moses and George, quickly before we begin. Mr. Wisse.
Look, Sobo, I want to say, James, it's a pleasure to have you. as I listen to you like a professional who is also in similar profession, I feel vindicated because everything that you said, they are absolutely right. And I have consistently told the people of Liberia that what is currently happening at the LDA, what is happening in Liberia, our government is acting in the moment. No strategy, no plan. You don't have what it takes to rehabilitate people who are struggling with drug use. The agency created to go after those who are involved in the importation and sale of drugs. The agency remains underfunded, ill-equipped, no logistics. Offices around the country are non-existent. In the absence of all of these things, my brother, we can make no progress. And what I would like to say too is that President Bouakai came to the presidency almost 2 years ago. And on January 22nd, he declared war. He declared war on drugs and made it a national priority. And you're telling me almost 2 years as a government, we cannot evolve a strategy? James? You going around in communities and rounding people up, taking them to makeshift structures that have no equipment, no expertise, and you say you're rehabilitating people? The agency that's supposed to be going after the drug dealers, 80% of the employees are volunteers. Are you serious?
Okay.
My brother, it's good that you came tonight. Let me stop there. It's good that you came, James.
Okay, let's hear from you, George. If you have a question or a comment, so we can welcome.
Just comments, you know. You, the professionals, I know Moses is very passionate about this. Sometimes he can get very angry.
Yeah,
I understand, but you know, this crisis, this is the first time really have become a national fight, right? So the political will should be there. That's why when Mr. Koyon said the entire DEA should be overhauled, that should be professional recruitment process as it was done with the AFL. If I were in my newsroom tonight, that's the news.
That's the angle you'd have taken it to.
Yes, because I think that message needs to go to the president. The same way you got AME Zayu, they got thousands of students that study criminal justice, they graduated. I think AMU just started graduating 1 or 2 years, or maybe like the first time or second years. But since the 90s, 2000, AME Zayu been putting up criminal justice students. A.B. Kroma is a product of AME Zayu University. Arthur Johnson, most of those guys, they are experts in criminal justice. Most of them going abroad. They even increase their professional comprehension of criminal justice. So I think what needs to happen, as Mr. Koyon said, you cannot, as Mr. Sandy said, you cannot get volunteers fighting drugs at the DEA. You can't have them there with people volunteering. We need to go for these professionals.
Okay, we are looking at the new team, that interim team appointed yesterday by the president. Two gentlemen from the police, one from the NSA. Do you think do they have the ability to fight the drug war?
They do, but would they succeed with the type of staff that they got, the men on the field that they got helping them to fight? They will not be on the field. The people on the field, most of them are compromised. Most of them are not trained. So it's difficult.
Do they have any experience in fighting?
They
some
do.
of them?
No, in terms of fighting drugs, I don't know about
the three of them.
But every one of them are sitting there criminal justice expert. Even Mr. Biogo himself been trained internationally. Right now, he's in the AME Zayu Criminal Justice Graduate School. Okay, and he's a professional guy that been trained abroad.
But at the police, they had a drug. At the police, they had a drug unit. They have a drug unit.
Yeah, they train them.
What impact did they make at the police in terms of fighting this sort of narcotics and drug substances, for which they place them in the positions that they place them at the DA.
I can't be specific on that, but on the war on drugs, the police have been heavily involved with the FDA.
Okay, let's go you there and speak with. Let's welcome Representative Smooth Mulba quickly. Rep, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you. And I'd like to say good evening to everyone.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Let's hear from you, Oliver. Oliver, you've been listening to your colleagues, and you also followed the news. 3 new faces have been placed at the DA, 2 from the Liberia National Police, 1 from the NSA. They are part of an interim body. What's your take about what you think they're going to do at the DA?
Yeah, so again, let me say thank you. It is good to predict. It is just good to predict. But what we expect to see is progress at the FDA. By predicting and not seeing what we expect to see will just be a waste of time. It will just be a waste of time. But the president is fighting a war that has started many years ago. The issue of drugs is a very serious matter in Liberia. It is nothing that anybody, can joke with. So by dismissing, reappointing, it is just a process of reforming the FDA. I heard somebody saying the professionals. Oh yeah, there has been professionals at the FDA. You talk about A.D. Kuruma, it's a professional person. You talk about Fadiga, he's a professional person. And all those who have ever led the FDA have been professional people. But the issue has always been trust, honesty. You can be a professional and still be a criminal. I hate when people remove this issue of trust and just build everything on professionalism. There are professionals who are criminals. The issue of drugs in Liberia is an issue that has to be dealt with from the top. Like somebody suggested, it is better to reform, or in fact to just dissolve the entire FDA and restructure. Now, in the restructuring process, we're going to be looking at honesty and trust. People with the heart to help their own country. People who are willing, people who are in a position to make that better.
Let me ask you, do you agree that just appointing people, we appointed a few individuals, again, we've just appointed an interim team, are we still handling this thing haphazardly? We haven't yet come over a well-structured approach. Do you agree with that?
But Saber, they say interim team. Interim team, meaning it is a team that holds onto FDA until proper appointments are made. It tells you that the president is actually working towards appointing people who he believes will have the professionalism, will have the pedigree to lead the FDA. We are getting there. I mean, we will continue to change people in as much as those who were appointed in those positions are not stepping the Liberian people. The president cannot stop appointing people. We will continue to appoint people until we get there. Okay. So I think
so we are getting there. Okay, you said we are getting there. So you think it's the appropriate way just going and breaking zinc shops and arresting drug users and tying them, and you think that's the way to go with a well-structured plan?
So, Saba, on the very show, I told you that it was the best way to go. You see, Liberia is a strange country. I'm just sorry to say, but it's a strange country. There are certain things you don't do in certain places in the world, but they are doable in Liberia because it is a systemic issue here. Okay, we cannot be waiting for a well-structured, FDA before we start to fight drugs. So, what are you happening? I initial step to ensure that to ensure that drug users and the importers get aware that this country is not a country that should be used as a transit point. We will arrest, we will destroy Gymsharks, and we'll go after whoever is behind the issue of drugs in Nigeria. We are not waiting for a special, organized structure as it should be. When people are dying every day, we have to take steps towards that. That's what we're saying.
Okay, let's hear from you, Representative Sumo Molba. Let's hear from you. You heard about the 3 new faces at the DA. 2 came from the Labrador National Police. 1 came from the NSA. We're trying to look at their capacity, their experience in trying to handle this whole drug crisis, because we don't know basically that term of reference yet. Well, what's your take?
All right, Sober and the rest of our colleagues. Let me say this. I think I listened to all of the panelists, and what I would say is that I see it different, because when it comes to the president have the right. That's the mandate of the president to appoint who he loves to appoint. But I think the way they are handling the issue of the drugs, when we are not careful, the president will fire, and he will appoint over the time. Because I think there's a systematic issue that need to be handled. And if we cannot look at those gaps in our system, then we'll be wasting time. And there are so many gaps. One of it will be the issue of training. You take Patrick will come. If we cannot go into those things that could solve the issue, you will bring Patrick, you will change Patrick again. So the issue of adequate training for our people. The first thing is that the police, they are just good in the routing aspect of policing. They are not deep into the drugs issue. So you need someone who understands the issue of drugs. You need someone who also understands the issue of mental health, right? So the police need to go through training, thorough training. If I were the president, I could use 2 law enforcement officers, and one of those directors will be from School for Health Ministry, who understand the issue of mental health to that of the substance of drugs. So if my thing is that with the issue of limited intersectoral play, where we have not everyone working with each other, the health ministry, the drugs enforcement, the DEA, the police, whosoever, they are not just working together as a team. One of those aspects would be underpaid. The guys are underpaid. That's one part of it. They are underpaid. So government can come with a threshold where everybody will get something better. Then we can fight drugs. So I stated that first, the police need training. 1, the issue of underpay. Another issue with the issue of sectoral, collaboration. We need to see that. And then the last area we mention will be the issue of mandatory drug testing. You know what solved drugs in America in 1981? The U.S. military. I think someone from America there. 1981, the U.S. military did mandatory drugs testing to all of their servers. And 1992, the story changed from 26%. It came down to 3.4% when they started the issue of drug testing. And it was just because of a few reasons. 1, people were afraid to be detected. Because when you are detected, you will be paying last. That's the system. So until we can revisit our system, the president will change. They put Patrick there. Patrick been with the police from Red Light. The story of Patrick is huge. It's very huge. Patrick dealt with a lot of people, young people. And we know the story of Patrick. I'm not saying Patrick is a bad person. But when it comes to drugs, Patrick cannot fight drugs. Let me make it clear here. Patrick cannot fight drugs.
Wow.
We need people who have the test.
They're reading that on Facebook.
I think the rep is bringing in another dimension to this whole thing.
I'm from Red Light. When you say Patrick will help with the traffic, that's fine. But Patrick era is not mental health. He got no understanding about mental health.
Okay, let's go there. Let's go there. Yeah, Mr. Koyon, let's come back to you.
Yeah, so I will just put some highlight on a few issues. Like I will start with the smoke calling. So the issue is that to address this issue, law enforcement is just one aspect. We talk about treatment and prevention, recovery, reintegration. It's a whole cluster thing. That's why we need a national strategy, right? So any trained police officer can lead law enforcement. But we are saying the first step. We are not even talking about prevention. No one talking about prevention. So if we continue talking about treatment, people will continue. We are not cutting transmission. So just look in a case, for example, like Ebola. When someone is affected, we isolate you, right? That's not going to solve the problem. It should be a similar with drug prevention. We don't even have a national prevention strategy. Like I said, and on the other hand, it's also new to Liberia, right? So, for example, if you open a treatment facility today, we have limited staff. Maybe some of them may come from ESBN, those mental health hospitals to come and treat. Some of them have specialized training. But not any nurse or doctor will just treat someone with addiction problem. You need a specialized training. That's the first thing. So, like I said, to start this, when the president pronounced that it was a national public health emergency, we expected an emergency response plan. What can we do in the first 6 to 12 months? While we develop a long-term strategy that has to do with maybe the next 3 to 5 years. Like I said earlier, we're going to live with drugs. It's not going to be anywhere. So we need those foundational structures that we put in place. Law enforcement, like we said, restructuring the LDA, it's not overnight. We're not saying you start restructuring now, but we need a clear pathway for restructuring. That in the next 2 to 3 years, the LDA will be a professional force that we can count on. We have a specialized and dedicated institution addressing the issue of treatment, care, and support. Mental health issue is associated with addiction, we agree, but there's no plan. We're not going anywhere. How can we track impact? 18 months, we have a committee cell, they have work. What can they show? To say, okay, we're here, when the president announced we're here, we are at this point now. When it comes to emergency response, we expect to have like detox, emergency detox centers across Monserrado and some neighboring counties at this point. We have mobile teams moving in. That's emergency, right? Why are you getting the guy? Because you go really ghetto, you get them off the street. Why you take them to prison? Or you just go dash them somewhere? No, it's not going to help.
But you listen, Mr. Koyon, you listen to Oliver. Mr. Wisha said, they must begin from that.
No. And I want to say this, right? It's not about political gain. It's not about doing something. What are we doing? Is this sustainable? This particular process should be sustainable. Because the ratio of relapse in drugs treatment is very high. If you treat 100 persons, it was 125 and stay in recovery, right? So the family relapse. So that's why you need sustainable programs that will keep track to keep them up, because you don't want to spend millions of dollars in the waste.
Sobo, can I come in?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, quickly.
There's the reason I came out with intersectoral collaboration, right? You cannot exclude the social worker. You cannot exclude those from the health sector, and you will not exclude the law enforcement officer. So the three groups have to work together, right? The police will go and do the arrest. When they bring them, they need cleansing, right? For the issue of cleansing, you need the health workers. Then for counseling, you also need the social workers. So they have to work together, together to see how best we can
work. That's why they have the multi-sectoral committee. Like for social work, they have gender on that committee. They have the Ministry of Health that is chairing it. The Ministry of Justice, LDA, is on that committee. And just recently, 18 months, the government, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning provided $1.5 million to that multi-sectoral committee. So maybe the next time on this particular show, we'll be discussing a report from the committee, right? I have officially requested the report from that committee, which of course, if they give it or not, I will access it. I know that. Another thing is that, you see, someone, let me just say this. We cannot fight this particular issue with politics. the first major public awareness that will carry out when it comes to the drugs was August 7. Mass number of people came out, right? On the 6th of August, the Executive Marshal issued a statement highlighting there will be new measures, will seize property, will do this. In fact, the government mentioned that they're going to immediately begin the implementation of a national action plan, which of course there's no plan, right? Which of course we know that there's no plan. There was politics intended to reduce the tension. On August 6th, if Marshal issued a statement concerning that there will be new measures, the president will seize property, will do this, will do that, and the president mentioned a comprehensive report, progress report for the steering committee. The next time on the show, we are doing analysis of that report, which of course we will share it, right? That there is nothing that you can track impact, that there are no baseline in that implementation, right? Let me react to this. This is not politics to say doing this or doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, James. James, let me just piggyback on what you're saying. You know, look, James. It is good that you are here tonight because my friend Sober and George can attest to everything that I have said continuously. That what we are doing, we do not have no plan of action, and I can tell you, you can recruit all the professionals and carry them to LDA. As a country, if we do not invest into the LDA, if we do not provide this entity logistics, if we do not pay livable wages to the officers, we will make no progress. It makes no sense to ask Moses Sandy, say, hey, Moses, go and arrest somebody who brought in drug war millions of dollars. But Moses Sandy has no food at home. Moses Sandy gets there, the man offer Moses Sandy $1,000 US. Moses Sandy lives in Liberia. To even get to work that day, he had to credit. What do you think Moses Sandy will do? We need a strategy. And this is what we don't have. You know, I heard my brother, we said, look, we said, James and I are professional in this business. When we say we don't have a strategy, we know what we're talking about. You can't bundle people up and put them in one little house and you say you're treating them. It doesn't go that way. There are phases in treatment. That's what we call detoxification. When a person is in crisis, you're taking the substance out of the person. The person stabilized. There are various layers. The person may decide to do residential. The person may choose to do intensive outpatient. The person may choose to do intensive inpatient. And there are several layers in treatment. Like James said, and this is why I have continuously told Senator DeLong that he's going around telling people that he's graduating. You listen to James. You can treat 100 persons today, and tomorrow you may have about 60 of those people coming right back to the rehab. We need a real strategy. This has nothing to do with politics. As a government, this is how we got to approach it. We need a strategy. Yeah.
Let's hold there. Let's hold there. Mr. We say you want to come in quickly so we can welcome Representative Member Briggs Mensah from Bon County. Mr. We say you want to come in quickly to respond?
Yeah, so it is becoming repetitive, you know. We continue to say the same thing here. People are discussing a well-structured LDA, strategies that should be in place before you start to fight drugs. See, if a cobra enters your house, a cobra that poses threat to you and your children at home, what will you do instantly as a father in that particular house? I think nobody on the show will sit in a house where there's cobra and then want to take even 30 minutes to strategize how to get that cobra out. You should be able to think instantly how to attack the cobra because it poses a threat to you and your family.
Does that analogy along with what we're talking about?
Oh yeah, sure. Because we have drugs in the country.
Hello, Mr. Wizard, that doesn't apply.
Mr. Wizard, trust is not just trust no one came to country yesterday.
The issue here is I'm comparing drugs, the danger of drugs, to that of cobra. It's just a metaphor here. Now, the drug you have in Liberia, as we speak, it is more than an emergency that the country needs to address. That's why you saw people marching, and the president declared the actual war. We will have a structure, and we are working on a structure. But to tell me that until you have all of these strategies in the world, until you have all the professionals in the world, you do nothing? You do nothing? No, I am saying no. What is happening right now is the best way to tackle these drugs. It creates awareness. As we speak right now, the community themselves are taking the responsibility to do the publicity. Yeah? So, I mean, something is being done. While we are waiting for all the professionals who cannot go back home to make contribution to the people. And you want them to trust us.
Thank you. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. We are also being relayed by Radio Get German in the Nimba County, Kwatika in Bonk, and of course our Radio Woolagee City, Lufo County. We will be transitioning very, very shortly. I'm sure you're quite aware that the Assange case has resumed. Just can you imagine on the first day, the Defense Council requested for a reschedule of the case because the government submitted its evidence 6 days to the resumption of the case. Why? Well, we don't know. Government had the evidence. I don't know why they decided to submit evidence just late. So we'll be talking about that also tonight. Do you think the government is really addressing the bread and butter issue? Yesterday, the Minister of Finance held a mini press conference. We have a video we'll be playing. The minister will be explaining to us as to what the government is doing in addressing the bread and butter issue. And then my panelists and guests will be looking at what the minister spoke about. Let's welcome our Representative Mema Briggs Mensah. Madam Rep, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks to all of my panelists and colleague Sumo. Thank you, and it's a great show. I listen to everybody. It's good that we all, one way or the other, are concerned. So when people are concerned, then they will add importance to issues. So firstly, I want to say thanks to the president. He's listening. He's trying to find the best. And at times you look for the best until you get it right. So at least he's listening. We had some people around here, you thought, they can't change it. They can't even ask them questions. They can't do anything. So he's not making people to be complacent. But I'm still praying to God that I think a few of our colleagues like Simon Mora and all of us have agreed to call ourselves, to record ourselves. We are rating the speaker. And we pray that that will be done along with our Senate colleagues, that we can come and see and look into some of these issues. I think the government, with the little resources they have, they are trying their best. Especially having a task force now, especially when I visited the Bensinsville and saw the 300 bed hospital, 350 bed hospital. And then I saw the girls' dormitory that are going to take almost 150 girls or plus in the dormitory they're trying to renovate. So when they're done with that, then they're going to have the people to the hospital, to the mental health hospital. After that, then they have to hold you somewhere when you're recovering. Like maybe the women, they will have them to the place about 60 acres I saw, and they will have you in there to have you like trade and other things, and that's going to go almost like 1 year plus to monitor you. So if we don't, and that is what I tell the government people, there is what you're doing, you're not talking. You open your own show and go and sit there and shy away from other shows that are going to know what you're actually doing. So from what I visited during the ECOWAS visitation, I think we Liberians should be able, especially I was disappointed when one of your colleagues from the States called and said, I can't come Liberia because I need to be paid 300,000 and this. When it comes to sacrifice, we all have to do it. When people say we need a strategy to be seen, let's have a back-end conversation and see what the strategy we can do, because we can say on the show, because the drugs cartel are very powerful. They have money and they are willing to spend it anyway. So they can split everybody in the second. For us to have a drug law on the floor today, it wasn't easy. It was a difficult one. You have people who call you, they will challenge you. Don't waste your time. You can pass the law. You want to listen to us. We want to meet you and you there. That's more than people before we would pass it. It was crazy. So I know what happened in the DEA. Already you don't got money, then anybody can dash anything. For me, I'm concerned. That is why I want us to come back. Because even with the DEA, the guy that said government official bringing drugs, for me, I still want him to be investigated. He have to show all those government officials. Now when they're taking people from their job and they go and sit down and fight. Even the one that I expected him to say, talk for my daughter. I was the one. Talk and put in jail until I reach there. Even if I would try to manipulate the system later, but at that time, I wouldn't be threatening people. So he know a lot because we heard on the video that 2 motorbike got stolen. And we heard that was his a daughter, boyfriend. So you know a lot. If you just let these people go sit down, I want to know somebody. It's somebody that was your senior officer. If you see them today, and they're no longer inside, but they're doing something wrong, will you have the courage to arrest them? It's difficult. So sometimes we put the people in a house zone. So the guy should be arrested and turned over for investigation. The 2 of them. Not just sending them home, they go and stay there and become threat in the community and to other subordinate DEA officers. I don't believe in that. But I think they are trying. We all need to come with our zero ideas and see what we can do. For me, the work I saw Patrick did in Kakata, I still have a confidence in him. I was one person I stopped one day around the 26th. I was looking for him and I spoke to him and I told him, thank you. The manner in which he cleaned up police station, the manner in which he was able to control the criminal rate in Kakata, I think we just need, everyone all need to be observing now. We can be relaxed. Let's observe. Let's speak up to the issue. Even if they insult us, people are insulting me. Oh, everything, people will lose their job. What you think doing? But people are not doing anything to me. I should lose my job. So let everyone observe. You people that are opportune to be in the States and know a lot of things, putting the tips together and give it to some of us that have the willpower and want to fight it. And when we go by, let's hope that the new set of people will bring their budget. The committee also will bring a budget. And what is the emergency intervention we can do? Let's do it alongside with the finance ministry. And let's keep the ball rolling. Something will happen one way or the other. Thank you, Sabo.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Sabo. Yeah. Let me just make a clarification. It's very important.
This time we will take it. Mr.
Yeah, it's just a clarification. Yes. Okay. Please. Because I just want to clarify. I beg you, Sabo, it's very important. Representative Breach says something, and it is important to clarify that. She did not call my name, but everyone in Liberia knows that the only person who has spoken on this subject matter is Moses Sandy. So let me say this. I did not call to Liberia and say that, well, I cannot come to Liberia to work and I need to be paid $300,000
annually.
Red, just a moment. With all due respect to you, I didn't say that. I told you and the people of Liberia that a psychiatrist in the United States makes $300,000 United States dollars. I am not a psychiatrist. I'm a clinical social worker. I do not make $300,000 a year. I am not going to disclose how much I earn yearly because that's not necessary. But what I did say was that if you're going to recruit professional, and my friend and brother James is on this discussion tonight, if you're going to recruit professional people like us, it is costly. James will not go to Liberia and work for $4,000 a month. I will not do that because we have responsibilities abroad. I just want to stop there.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to work for 200.
Let me get 2 minute clarity, please. Let me do 2 minute clarity. My colleague said something. Yeah, with the issue of Patrick. What I said that,
when people have love for country, they don't even give those excuses.
Yeah, so 1 minute, please. Let me just do the clarity. What I'm saying is that, Patrick is not a bad person, but over the time in Red Light, I have been in close contact with Patrick. He's one that focuses on criminal. Our people, the drug user, are not criminal. They are mentally ill. So we're looking at two different things here. This is what I'm saying. Patrick is not good towards the issue of mental ill people. That's all. Yeah.
But Saba, can I come in quickly?
Yes, quickly, because we have to transition.
Yeah, so I was about to say the same thing that Representative Brick just said about Patrick. Because the man stole yesterday, or because the man was a thief yesterday, doesn't mean he cannot be a pastor today. I mean, honestly speaking, I was impressed when I heard that Patrick is doing something good in Kakata. Because initially, when the rep said, I cannot trust Patrick because I work with in Red Light, I was like, wow. So that means because you know this guy from Red Light, he can do nothing positive. And then how can the president appoint such a person?
Don't get me wrong. He's a law enforcer as it concerns criminal activities. The way they treat criminals is quite different from the mental ill people. That's two different things here.
But Red, you cannot just sit on a show and say you cannot trust him because you know him from Red Light. Patrick can do what he was appointed to do. And they are all fighting crimes. I mean, those drug users and importers, I mean, they are all taking drugs. And I mean, so when people are fighting them, they are fighting criminals.
Okay, Mr. Koyo, just in a few seconds, your conclusion, so we can transition.
Thanks so much, and thanks to the honorable representative from Bond County. So for me, I will conclude on this, but I'll Saba and the rest of my colleagues on the panel, right? If we will address this issue, like I have completely said, it's not a face quick thing. If you're thinking that, catch people carrying them, watching them quick because we want to make some political points, we're going to be in cycles, right? That's why we talk about playing. Now we need an emergency plan. We are in emergency. What can we do? It should be documented and posted. That when we like the owner said that, like evidence document to the legislature say, in the next 6 months, this is what we can do. We need this amount of money. While we develop a long-term strategy, 3 to 5 years. When we manage this crisis, don't get good control. When the crisis subsides, don't get control it. That's something I want to live by. Here's something I want to live by. So we need plans to move forward. We're all playing, trust me, we are not going anywhere because we'll not be able to track impact. We're not going to know what we're doing. We're not going to measure anything. So we need clear plans that will drive this particular crisis.
Okay, so gentlemen, thank you. I think we have to transition now to our next discussion quickly. And let me read this from Sean Liberia quickly. Once again, the government of Liberia has failed to submit all of the evidence in time, even after failing the public through the Liberia National Police that all evidence against the former speaker and his team were in tight. Multiple sources say the government only presented the evidence last night, less than 6 hours to the scheduled court proceeding, breaching legal deadlines. The former speaker didn't only back his words. After leaving the courtroom, he was captured as saying, "Who would have thought that the government would present the so-called evidence to the court last night, less than 5 hours to the court proceeding with all of the terms that were given, but I will leave it with the public to be the judge." Former Speaker Jonathan Kofa saying that. Let me begin with you, Representative Mulba, on this one. As a result, the defense counsel had to petition the court or move the court to reschedule the case because the government, through the Labrador National Police, presented evidence 6 hours or 5 hours to the resumption of the case. What's your reading in that? Let's hear from you.
No, so can we start with Honorable Bruce first? Yeah.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
You want to tell me?
But why are you running away from your time? Okay. Then go here, bad, but other story about we come back to my brother Mose when I finish with the thing because I let Mose business. And when you come, if you accusing people, you must be willing to sacrifice also and know what we're going through here. So let me say this. The first thing about concern, and I raised that in our chat room yesterday. I heard the guys that was getting on the bus. I saw the video, they said they are being tortured. They were showing some mark on themselves. If these people are already being charged and placed beyond bars, and they are requesting their bond, and you are investigating the bond, why are we still torturing them? So that's something we need to investigate. And I said to people, today is few of our colleagues. I was right when I was lying down in Germany. I went for the conference and I saw that place burning. I cried like a baby. Because that place, I was small, I used to go there when my father was representative. I love it to my heart. So I wouldn't want anybody to go with impunity, but not to be selective and not to think that you will just denigrate any of us, and because it's court matter, we keep quiet about it. We must question the process. We must know what happened. And I told people, I was one person that said, I don't have a problem you finding evidence and doing this, but there was 4 set of group in that compound. So just not put a cloud over you. You should have just, in as much as you have all of your evidence or what you have, you should have just done the needful to call every one of them for questioning. And it sets you far apart from people assuming that you've been biased. So that was one of the things that everybody think that, oh yeah, this thing I've been targeted, I've been this, because from the onset, you wouldn't have the Capitol Building Police, you have the majority, you have the minority, you have the police. If you didn't call any one of them for questioning, then they put a cloud. I know every one of us trying our best to do what we can do to save Liberia. But the little mistake we do at times, it comes back to us. So I'm still concerned. I've asked my colleague that we make sure that we call these people and find out what is happening about our colleague, because some of them can't even travel, some of them can't do what they want to do because they have been stopped for a lot of reasons. It's them today, it may be us tomorrow. So I'm sure the leadership is going to listen and we're going to follow it up.
Let me ask you before I go to Representative Sumo Mulba or before I go to Mr. Wisse, were you shocked? Were you, shocked that the evidence that the police said, that the government said it had, it didn't submit the evidence in time? It's just 6 hours before, to the extent that the defense counsel had to move the court to ask for reschedule of the case. Were you shocked?
I cannot say I was shocked. The defense counsel work in the justice ministry, the police, the justice ministry take care of the police. So this thing that they're acting. Are you telling me that if the defense counsel or the justice minister or the state solicitor want a document from the police director, they can't get it in time? So let's stop playing with one another right here. That's not it. Are you telling me about, oh, they have to come to the legislature for aid, or they have to go to a different branch of government, then it becomes a problem? Not somewhere you sitting and you directly report to these people and you telling me they didn't get it. I'm not shocked. I think they will solve their problem. I think they're just acting.
Representative Mulba, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, Macaulay Mema. Thank you so much. First of all, I will say this. What I expected, let me start with this. What I expected from the issue, I expect a genuine and transparent investigation, trial. And also, the act itself is barbaric. I want those involved to be penalized. But then there should be a transparent legal process. You cannot tamper with the proceeding. First of all, they had an investigation by the police. They held people as suspect. They went through 1 month investigation. So if you have gone through 1 month investigation, there should be a proof that you already have some facts against those, that you allege that did the act. But what I'm confused of is this: at the level of the court, before even the proceeding, there should be all of your facts, right? To just hear that 6 hours before, I'm really confused, because that's not the rightful proceeding. Another aspect is what Mema said: the guys that came from the court, all of those that were in prison, they were showing torturing mark. I think it's wrong. On our law, on our international law, when you hold somebody, right, and they are with you in your custody, you don't go about beating them or beating on them. It's wrong. So if any legal person listen to me tonight, we need to change. We need to change. We all pray for a better system. The only way we can get this better system is just not from the House of Legislature, because every time you cry on our knee, lawmaker, lawmaker, lawmaker. I also want to hear Liberia crying on the judicial system. Be crying on the lawyer. Be crying on the judge. You don't just cry on lawmaker.
Yeah. Okay. Let us hear from you, Mr. Wise. You listen to the two lawmakers, and besides, I'm sure you followed also online the proceedings yesterday. People had expected that the government would have submitted its evidence far before time, rather just 6 hours. So as a result, the defense counsel, the counsel representing for Nancy Kofa and others, had to move the court for reschedule. You think that was a blunder on the part of the government, or do you are you in support of what the government did in delaying the evidence?
Well, Sabra, so before I even come to that question, let me recommend to the two lawmakers on the show tonight, and in fact express my disappointment, in that house, to have a Capitol building in 2024 with no CCTV camera, but an insult to the state in the first place.
Man, when I pass that stage, man.
Listen, please.
You can't enter our office and take your finger.
Fingerprint doors.
Come on. Am I protected here?
No.
You are. Saba, please protect me here.
Please,
yeah, go ahead.
At my workplace, my friend told me your country now is a serious country. That in 2024, the government house was attacked with fire, and up to today, they are on a show. We are asking for evidence here and there that will be done by one simple camera. But anyway, to the issue.
Asking for evidence, the very last one they accused us.
To the issue. Let me recommend here that they should go back to that house and pass a law that every public building and every business in the country should have CCTV camera by law. In the UAE, camera.
Not too much CCTV camera. Most coming same for a CCTV camera to come out.
CCTV camera, you money to charge drop. No money.
Watch out, me I'm telling you our best.
The two lawmakers are not protecting me, honestly.
Sorry about Oliver.
And they have to make this law. They have to make the law that every public building and every business should have.
Mr. Wisse, we are not asking for a recommendation. We are asking, are you sure?
I said before I go to your question, this was one of the recommendations.
We don't want recommendation yet.
Yeah, so to the issue, there's nothing wrong. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong for the government to produce the evidence finally. And there's nothing wrong for a rescheduling of the case.
There's nothing wrong for No, let me get it right. Let me get it right. Are you saying there's nothing wrong for the government to delay the evidence?
No, you see, Saba, when you say delay, then it sounds like it was intentional. They were finding evidence. I mean, real.
Are you saying? Come here. All of the time, they talk for the case to resume. They were still finding evidence. Is that what you're saying?
Of course, somebody was still finding real evidence.
Look,
now that they have it,
Mr.
Now that they have it, there's no problem. They can go to court.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Wisse, let me just provide some background information for you. Look, I understand your passion, your support for the administration, but let's try to come across as people who are honest. There's no word in the world. Allow me. Yeah, let me just complete my question. No word in the world in a legal matter where someone has to defend his or herself. The accuser is under legal obligation to provide the evidence to this person to prepare his or herself for the legal hearing. That's how it goes. How do you provide the man the evidence in less than 24 hours? You expect this man to go to court and speak to the very evidence that you have already presented to the court. It doesn't work like that in the legal world.
Okay, let's hold it there.
Thank you.
And so that is why, in the wisdom of the court or the judge, the case was rescheduled, I think, for September 2nd. If the government presented the evidence lately and there was a reschedule, then there's no issue here. They will still go to court.
You think there was a misstep? You think there was a misstep?
I don't want to say misstep. I think the government was taking the appropriate steps so as to avoid going to court with evidence that would not be substantive. Yeah. So now that the evidence came, whether it was late, let's see what happens in the news that was said. The government cannot go to court without real evidence, my brother. They have to do the right thing. Though it was late, yes, but they will still have to go to court.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. 1 minute, please. Someone. 1 minute.
Yes, go ahead. Yes,
let me just give this research out there quickly. Article 67(2), right? Bracket, section 2 of the RCC statute. It says that the state prosecutor shall disclose such evidence as soon as possible. Evidence should be placed down in court as soon as possible before you go through the hearing of the trial. That's 67 section 2 of the RCC, the International Code Law Statute.
So as soon as possible, is that 6 hours before hearing?
Not 6 hours, not as soon as possible. Definitely is not as soon as possible there, yeah.
Okay, yes.
So let us face the reality. I didn't want to speak to this team because it's in court, it's a matter in court.
No, because you're from Unity Party. That is true. You're from Unity Party, so you
use your friend, my man.
So let me get this. I'm
coming. Yes, go ahead quickly.
There's no violation.
And then I know other friend watching him. Oh yes, I know Mr. Wizard. Let me say Mr. Wizard. But I let Mr. Wizard be to me now. Let it be. So Mr. Wizard, your friend said we get CCTV. You are laughing at you. He was laughing at us. He said we don't have CCTV. I'm sure he's laughing at you to say you're not supposed to produce evidence in indicting people a certain court date. So why the rush? Why you can take your time to do it? So I'm sure your friend will tell you later on. You will laugh that you set a date to appear in court, and you also indict people and say we're coming to court tomorrow. What's supposed to substantiate your fight or your claim, and you say info you must still be looking for it on a day of court. Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's hear from you.
As I said, I didn't want to be emotional about this. It's good to face the reality. If it were a violation, you will have heard fine. You will have heard the case being thrown out.
We're not saying violation. We say transparency.
You were talking here while you were talking. Don't add there to people that listen to you. You have to listen to other people.
Go ahead.
It doesn't mean that if what I'm saying you don't agree with, so you should interrupt unnecessarily. Okay.
You are misquoting us.
I'm not misquoting. I'm not quoting you. I'm not addressing what you said.
Oh, okay.
In court, if you do not present your evidence in the time that the court is definitely will be thrown out. If you present it late, but within the time frame, that the other party will have the right to call to appeal for time.
No, the reason why I'm coming.
So it's legal.
I'm coming. The reason why this is raising eyebrows is because the case been sitting on docket for almost 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months.
And people expected that, the prosecution to have, presented its evidence, even prior to the resumption of the case.
Then the time to present the evidence.
All right, so why 6 hours before?
Excuse, if they give you 1 month to present your evidence, the last day is Thursday of that month. And that last day, you have 5 hours for that 1 month to expire. You can present your evidence. It's still within that 1 month period.
So then
So if you present it within that 1 month period, it left with the other party to say, I don't have sufficient time to look at this evidence.
But the thing is, no. The thing is, you take the case. Yes, thank you. You take there's a case that you consider a major case. So you shouldn't be delaying in presenting evidence.
You see, this thing.
Guilty.
It's not.
There's no violation.
You see how you?
No, we are not saying there's violation.
But once there is no violation, there is no need to debate it. There is no violation. So why we
Sober.
Yes, man.
Sober.
Yes, yes, you.
Mr. Oliver is telling you, Mr. Peter telling you that you blunder because that whole house, you don't even have CCTV camera. You don't want to discuss it, but you
get CCTV camera in.
Hello, George. Hello, George. George, let me just beg to differ with you.
You have your right.
If there were no violation, the hearing judge would not have granted the request for the extension of the hearing.
Thank you.
I guess I agree.
The action by the prosecution was intended to entrap the defendants, and that is unfair.
It's not a legal process. It's
not. Listen, George.
Yes.
This case is a high-profile case.
How you describe it?
It's not like somebody went down the street and took a waiter market. No, this is a high-profile case. So you must demonstrate everything to show that you are being transparent, you are being honest.
No violation.
And that was lacking. There was a violation.
So
had there not been no violation, then why the petition was granted? If there was no violation, why was the petition granted?
Okay, let me say it again. You 2 days to present. You, the prosecutor, present your evidence. The 2 days is 24 hours.
Thank you.
You present your evidence in the 23rd hour. It's still in line. It's not a violation. You want to
George,
carrying the first hour.
But George, if the law is that you have to do this within a specified period of time and you didn't do it, it was predicated on that the judge said, hey, I'm going to grant this petition because these people were not treated fairly. That's a violation right there.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, we'll have to transition. Mr. Koya, you want to wait in?
Yeah, let me just wait in because it's a legal stuff. Like I said to you, it's a legal issue, so we want to be very careful in terms of how we give our comments or our opinions on this matter. I think what I've deduced from the entire conversation is that we all are pushing for a transparent and credible process.
Thank you.
The fact that we agree that it was not like a violation of code laws, that maybe you presented your evidence, but it was not presented adequately, timely, that why the defendant pray that the court extended it. But we are saying that if there's no violation of code, that's a legal process. But we are saying that since the poor process started, it has been 3, 4, 5 months. So even agree to go to court and indict these people, which we have substantive evidence. Why must you keep it to your chest? Waiting in a 59 minutes to carry to court. Right? So we think that it's a calculated attempt, like we said, to entrap the defendants, that they will not have adequate time to peruse the evidence and be able to make adequate defense. So why come and play trick? We see our strength. Go to the process, carry everything you have, and persecute the people. Simple as that.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Let's try to treat our last topic quickly. We have a video to that. We'll play the video, and then after which we all talk about our takeaway. And it has to do with the question: is the government really addressing the bread and butter issue? So let's listen to the Minister of Finance quickly in this video.
You must continue to run. You wouldn't reach a point. The economy is such that you cannot rest. Even if you're making progress, you must continue to work, and that's why we own. What bread and butter? Let me say this. You see, we're talking about constraints to growth, constraints to job creation. One of 2 constraints that we talk about, and you see us tackling those constraints with all the fibers of our being. Energy, infrastructure, especially road infrastructure. Why are those things important? People may not understand the link with the bread and butter. Now, based on what we've done so far, people are now leaving from here, going to Zwedru in 7 hours. Before, they were taking sometimes 2 days, 1 week, and were passing through other countries. Even now as we speak, an MTA buses can move from there in rainy season and go as far as Wanjima, go to the southeast in the rainy season. The cost of transportation has reduced because MTA and other cheaper means of transport. The money saved means that more money in the pocket of those people, they can buy more bread and butter. Now, if people, those that are moving on the highway, that are spending just 7 hours when they were spending sometimes a week being stuck, they are coming, bringing their goods. They are selling their goods. It's turning things around. It's bread and butter. Now, the electricity. This dry season, the past dry season, in terms of power, people saw what happened. It was unlike the others. And it was like it reached a point some people were saying, let me say thanks to Mr. Sharif, the new MD. I know Mr. Sharif because when I was here in my first thing, he was my chief economist here. He went out and did some good things, came back with the experience. And they started to say, Sharif, please don't give us more power. Right? You heard it, you saw it, they were not joking. power is increasing. New communities are getting light. And you see the celebration. If people don't see that progress, then maybe it's a problem with our side. So every day, nightlife is increasing. See Monroe here. Huh? Now, people are making business in the night. Do you know what it means for businesses to operate in the night? More businesses are operating. What does that do to bread and butter? Now, I go to the port. The last time, just last night, I was going across. I usually sometimes work late. 10:30, I saw container trucks coming from the port. I'm sure it's not only me that I've seen that. Container trucks coming from the port. What are in the container trucks? Goods that are being sold. You know, it is businesses are being affected. You know, we are not out of the rules. Things are not perfect. But even here, I can go on and on. Imagine we dedicated about 5 buses for our civil servants who work here. And many other ministries are doing similarly. We're going to procure 2 more. They never have buses for more than, I think, 7 years. Now, you know what it does to them? The money that they spend on transportation, you know, that comes from that salary. We're talking minimum wage. They're not paying that. What does that do to bread and butter? They can buy more bread and butter. And that, you know, we gave insurance and others. So overall, do you know why we emphasize payment of salaries and last day we're on time? The last time in July, we started to pay even before the 15th. Why are we doing so? Because when we delay civil servant salaries, technically we impose another tax on them, the tax of delay, because we constrain them to go and take loans, and then the people charge them interest. So we don't talk about that, but we have ensured that that informal tax that can be huge sometimes, that our civil servants are not benefiting. You know what it does to bread and butter? I could go on and on. We are spending more time working, and maybe we need to spend some time talking. But if you spend more time talking, you'll be talking nothing but bombast. You will not be talking achievements. We are not in too much fancy talk. We spend our time working and sweating. You know, there's negativity here that people try to make it to look like the country is receding. It's not that we don't know how to talk. It's not that we don't know how to talk. You know, the last, in November and December, government, 2023, government had to credit to pay civil servants. We have not credited to pay civil servants before. In fact, we are clearing the credit. If someone says that was progress for government to credit to pay civil servants, and now we're not crediting, we're paying on time largely, then the definition of progress is upside down.
Well, that's the Minister of Finance, and he said it, you know, right. He said we are not out of the woods. We are not, you know, where we want to be, but we are not where we were before. Let me hear from you first, Mr. Wisse. What is your takeaway? Do you think what the minister has said is it a way of addressing the bread and butter issue? He made reference to energy, electricity. He made reference to the roads and all of that. Let's hear from you.
You know, Sober, as I listen to the finance minister speak, then I realized that he's also a teacher. He's not just a financial expert here. They were just teaching simple things that most Liberians are misunderstanding. And everything that you mentioned are things that lead to bread and butter. And you are so right. When you have energy in the country, when you have stable electricity in the country, you have many businesses going on at the same time. Once you have good road connectivity and you see goods moving here and there, money goes in the pocket of people. He addresses the issue of bread and butter. This man talk about salary disbursement on time. He also speaks to the issue of bread and butter. The bread and butter issue in Liberia has been misconstrued to being government putting money in people's pockets directly. So I always told you I live in the UAE. Here, they don't do that government thing as you do it in Liberia. It is a business country. So what did they do? They improve electricity, real energy, real infrastructure. Things are in place. So the citizens are not going after government job. They are not just, crying here and there because they have businesses to do because of the environment and the infrastructure. So Minister Gafan was just right to provide a simple education for every Liberian who thinks that when you say bread and butter, it's about government sharing money on people. It's about creating the environment that will make the citizens to get money so that they will put bread on their table. He made mention of the port. And that is true. So, kudos to Minister Gafan for being such a wonderful teacher. Thank you.
Okay. Representative Mema Briggs, let's hear from you. What's your takeaway from what you heard from the Minister of Finance?
So at this time, I would agree with Oliver, Mr. Wilson. I think this is a new government. In America, they say, they were in power before, but these are the president in charge is different person. And at times when you have a transition period where maybe like the president didn't run and they supported you, they kind of show their friends to you and you have to navigate a little bit. So, but for me, I think from what I see, with people being able to move around in the roles, being connected, I know much jobs hasn't been created because creating job in government and putting more burden on the economy is not what we want. We want to see a proper revision of the concessions we have. Let's try to see. I think when we review the concession and say, let's reduce the 97% for concession years and see if we can do partnership. So then we said, ArcelorMittal, they go every time they sell to the parent company and they come and honor declare. So if we have a monitoring aspect that is put in place, at the end of the day, I'm sure my boy Mose will come, because if Mose have a idea on concessions and how iron ore supposed to be transported, and then there's a bid to say we want Liberian company to come and monitor from the aspect of taking the concession, our minerals, into the sale point and coming back with the money before you take it. Now, when the salary coming, Mose will come, because when Mose raised 100,000, Mose know he either getting 5% of that money or 10%. He will create jobs. So let the president have the political will. Let's call the expert. For me, bring people from even out of the country, let other updates on the table and review the concession. If you bother around our consultation, let's review the consultation. But we can't be sitting and hiding from our money are wasting. I'm one person I can tell you. I hear about SPS. I will not pass any railway bill for any company until we sell off the standard railway bill. To pass it. That somebody will be there to monitor. That somebody will be there to negotiate, that we will have a railway going to Grand Cru, that when someone want to go have the show there, he will not worry. That we will have it to Kema, that we can go there in even the next 2 hours within Morovia. But we come in there again, the next thing, people to just be transferring the iron ore. Look at Nigeria, look at Ghana now. The last time we were on a train in Nigeria. All the places. That's another way of making money. Let's start to think out of the box. That's the same thing I say about people. I heard the finance minister talking, but I hope when the budget comes back, we will have to take the standard labs from the commerce ministry. The standard labs supposed to be people that are monitoring the commerce ministry and the produce that come here. You tell them you stock them on a commerce and get 100,000. How can they check the kind of things that come in our country? So let's be realistic about things. I'm still convinced the government have 4 years. I think they are doing their best. there are still little lapses that we all need to work on. That Moses need to sacrifice and come and structure the whole mental health era. And then you can say, I've tried 1 year, I'm going back. And then another person can come and do the rest of it. Then we all will make it happy and we'll make sure it works properly. But when I still say, you can't go back, I'll get you laying there. I still say, we all have to have our hands on deck. We do what we can do. The politician, the opposition that they work to criticize, and even they want to do it constructively and left with them. But when they criticize, it means that you're getting negative feedback. Take the rightful one that will make you better and work on it and make yourself strong. For me, that's what I'm concerned about.
Okay, thank you. I know Mr. Wanted want to just join us. Can you imagine that? Mr. Wanted, I want to welcome to the program. We'll come to you. We are discussing the issue of the bread and butter, but let's hear from a representative, Small Molba, quickly. What's your? I
hope I have enough. I hope I'm giving enough time, like the other colleagues, because I want to open this up. I want to really expand it. Okay. I listened to the podcast from the former minister. And let me say this, he through emphasis field area, he make mention of energy, infrastructure. He also spoke of transportation, right? The road network. But I think all boiled down to the issue of the medium for marketing. He said that the medium of marketing is favorable, like who's coming from Vonyama, coming from Grand Juda to Morovia, and people going back, they can, people are able to access their goods through the road network. That's fine. He also make mention of the network of the urban and rural area network. That's so beautiful. But let me say this. I'm a realist. I like to be friends with the Liberian people and like to be friends with everyone here. Here's the thing. He spoke like a politician, not a finance minister. And I always say this. I said this before to the CDC government. We need to generate from being politician and just being a financial person. The only language Mankebe will hear in Lofa County, Omar Orito will hear in Grand Bassa County. Now, all of those jargons, economic jargon, and whatsoever, what Omar will get to know is the issue of having a salary. That's one thing. When people are paid well. Another one is commodity. When the price of commodity drops, that's what Mankebe understand. And the issue of wages. The issue of wages. How many individuals you got in Liberia? The end of the month, they can get above 250 United States dollar salary. That's one major issue. We also have the issue of unemployment. When you talk about bread and butter, the issue of unemployment. How many person enjoying like you enjoying as one minister? How many of them? Then we talk about listen to people saying that bread and butter. When you look at those for bread and butter, it means that everything is favorable for everybody on the average rate. What's the rating of investment? What's the rating of investment? How many investors coming in Liberia? Then we say bread and butter. Let me say this, Sober. We need to friend with our people. Although the President Joseph Imam Baka have enough time, he have more time to adjust. But as we're speaking, we have to be very careful what we say to our people. It will turn back on us.
But let me ask you, are you insinuating that what the minister said that could address the bread and butter issue, the issue of electricity, the issue of the roads, are you doubting that? Are you differing with the minister? Is that what you're saying?
Let me say this, Sober. I'm not from no political party. I'm from the Liberian Party, the Liberian People Party. What the Liberian people say that what we go back. Let me tell you the issue of electricity. How many persons can afford the current bill? Because no job. Because no job. Before we talk about electricity, you will bring the current because there's no job. A lot of people will not have current. Like in my community where I live, we just have 21 person with current. How many person can pay the current bill? How many person can pay for even the meter? The bread and butter issue, to say bread and butter, he could have used different terminology on that. But not bread and butter.
Okay.
Bread and butter,
let's go there. Mr. Koyon, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so I think I have a different view, and maybe I'll be tapping into the cap of a Smoke. Unemployment is unprecedentedly high. We have to state that young people are unemployed, and government need to attract foreign direct investment. That's why you see every young person who want to be on Facebook, maybe insulting somebody, maybe like nobody can get favor from their political leader. Stuff like that. Everyone is transferring into politics. Everyone is transferring into politics. That's the only thing. Politics, because that's the only way you get employed. Right? So we need to be clear. Like Obama Bridge President said that the issue of our natural resources, how well we are managing them. This issue is not just unique to Liberia, it's an African problem. Those multilateral companies have all the technical sophistications. They hire the best lawyers. In fact, they will come in the country and take the best lawyer to draw up their contracts. And then, let me frank, the legislators sometimes they don't have that sophistication to review the kind of contracts, the kind of clauses that are in those contracts, right? And they will take our resources and get little or nothing. This is not just a problem, it's an African problem.
When you say that the legislature does sometimes have the sophistication, what do you mean?
As on the man said, he even know what is going on.
You got people on committee that focus on general knowledge. People,
now there's Smoke from London that know about the issues.
Man, I think back to that.
You got people on committee that let me learn.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so there are many factors. How can we, look at the issue of creating jobs for young people? Our young people need to work. If people have money, they will provide, they will be able to afford legislation, they want to live the best life. But let's face the fact when it comes to bread and butter issue, the country is hard. That's a reality, it's a living reality. So I would say this.
Let me come in, brother.
I'll say something because maybe Moses, I'm not ready to stay long in the States. I have the experience. I'll just say this and close up on this. At one point in time, it was just like 2 years back, I was in Liberia and I was doing a consultancy it was a social consultancy, but a link with the MFDP, right? That has to do with some fiscal transparency work. And I got some payments. But then I think rest was short on the market, and I didn't want to I'll pay for rest for my mother, but I didn't want to give the money because I wanted to get the rest actually. So I went across the Vata area in a cricket to get the rice with my little brother. But we couldn't find rice, so I said, well, I can keep checking, so you have to carry the money, right? Because traffic issue, I will not drive down that side, I'll just do something fast. So while walking Vata, I saw 30 to 50 young guys sitting even the store. These are guys that upload continuous, right? For like $150 or $75 they work. And, so I saw them. No, seriously, it brought tears to my eyes, right? I was just looking at them. These are guys, they want to work. They really want to work. And there's nothing they can do.
Okay.
So,
let me come in a little bit.
Quickly. Let me do that, man. Please come in. My brother said something against us. He said that we lack the sophistication, right? Mm-hmm. And let me say this. It's not about lacking. We have very good guys in there. Very good. Let me be frank. Although we have some all-smart ones, but we have very good guys in there that could go through the debates. Our issue is taking motion for the debate on the floor. When the debate come on the floor, there are people who will argue. Remember now, we have both sides. We have the pros and cons. Either the pros doing the debate convince the con, or the con convince the pro. So if we can allow the debate on the floor with each of the bill, whatever law whatsoever that will come to us, if we can come on the floor for an argument, trust me, Liberia will be a better place, and you will have a better house.
Representative Briggs.
So let me say this. My brother said the motion on the floor, and one other thing I would say, you see the house? The house worked through committees. And because of favoritism or because of your connection, you take somebody that have the idea on certain issue and you don't even put them on the committee. Like for me, I've worked with telecommunication sector All through my life, since 2001, we started Lone Star until for 14 years when I left Again Politics. So you look at a woman like that, you take her from a post and telecommunication committee. You put people there that don't even have the idea, especially when you have a sector that you have all of the people that are supposed to be monitoring. I can say I tend to be corrected, but because they don't have idea on telecommunication. Are you in your side mind? The way telephone company used to complain, you see how they relax because of the leakages. You don't have a correctional monitoring arm. So those guys are getting rich out of us. They relax. Do you see Falcon and Lone Star complaining again? No quality assurance. No, nothing to check on the data. No one know the inbounds meaning. They tell you that 60 seconds when you go check, maybe that 35 minutes. Nobody know how they get the outsourcing companies. They bring their friends to the company and you work with them 10 years, 15 years. They tell you they auto you, pay you on and auto you. They're not responsible for medical again. They're responsible for your family. No people check it because people check care, but they don't know. So the house have to be blind to friendship and put expected to where they belongs.
Okay.
And then you allow them to perform.
Okay.
And that is one of our problems I can always complain about. The government has to create a job. Make sure you got CTM, you got Medtech. These are companies the government were elected on because they criticize them. Has they come today and said, let's review a holistic the committee to review it? And we can ask them because we are always tell to all on the board we're going. And that's why I always complain and say, my oversight, every time if it comes to oversight, I can tell you we stay at the level of 30%, 40%. Because we're not using our oversight to make sure we bring the executive to work. If we use it, what about you? Every day you believe that I'm making 15,000. I tell people every day, Moses, not calling a salary. I will call my salary. Moses, I'm making 6,900. From the time I enter that house, the first time I enter there, they say, well, can we be making 8,000 plus? They call or they say they harmonizing up. It was better I take that harmonization money and carry my district and use it. Because I'm still here that the money I'm making. But everybody convinced we're making money. So the simpler way is, I did a communication. Let's publish our salary. Then we start to ask lines ministry to bring the salary and we publish it. You in America, you will not know that who making the money. So directors are making money more than us. People to NOCA, they're making 11,000. People to LTA that you can't even see the revenue increasing. For them to turn in the place that go to Ghana and see the LTA. You know how much money they raise? They go doing mobile money, nobody checking them. They're ready to pull the money off of mobile money. Uganda, the economy depends on mobile money. They relax. So it's all in every one of the executive, everybody, because when we have bad concession, we can only recommend for it to be reviewed, and the executive is supposed to take the initiative to do that. But nothing happening. LTA coming work with a 70% going and 30% coming to us. Nobody got a political will and the willpower. We're talking about the one of the council.
That's where you there. That's where you made a point. You made a point. Mr. Wanto, can we hear from you?
I'm here. I'm following.
I'm sure you.
Yeah, I came.
You gotta see your tail. You can't go down there. When you're on spoon, we can see you. I want to show yourself.
Hey, representative. To some extent, I echo the sentiment. I have no disagreement on the idea of, what was said, but there are just fundamental things that I think is extremely deceptive. And the reason why it's deceptive is because one, a part of that recording, maybe it wasn't played, was the aspect where the minister said that nobody in the Republic of Liberia now make 150 when it comes to gross salary. So that entire statement transition from the fact that he said, "Oh, no one under the government of Liberia would take 150 below to gross salary." So the other aspect is there was something very hilarious there. He said the minister said he was coming in his car and he saw continuum coming from the port at night, so it means Liberia is functioning. we should not be having this kind of conversation, especially when it comes to economic dividend. The truth is, there is extreme challenges here. Unemployment is skyrocketing. Today, Stella Marie just put on hundreds of graduates. They have no options of job opportunity. Systemically, all of the government functionality must work hands in hands. The other aspect is that there is too much inclusive propaganda on developmental issues, and this is far from reality. Few days ago, there was a circulating rumor from the Ministry of Finance where they said, "Oh, the government is going to receive 500 million in the Millennium Compact." Before that, I think almost a year ago, that propaganda started when the Millennium Compact just passed, when we passed the scorecard. And I came on air and I said, this is wrong. This is the procedure for the Millennium Compact. Passing the scorecard does not automatically guarantee you to have, financial funding. There is bureaucratic process. Even if you have the 500 million passage from the Board of Governors in Washington, D.C., you have to go in up to 5 years to 6 years of planning process implementation before you even realize. So even the realization of the Millennium Compact will be the next administration, or if possible, if the Unity Party gets re-elected to another term, then that when the implementation will be realized. So there is structural challenges, and I agree with what Osmose when he said propaganda should not be the earmark of governance. I do not think all of what the minister said in about 80% is realistic with the conditions of our economy and the challenges that we have. I'll be looking forward to seeing if the House of Representatives can call the minister further to basically question him on these things. Because if you argue on the bread and butter issue, you are saying basically Liberians should be hungry. Liberians should have no opportunity. Today, as we speak, the ministry, the University of Liberia faculty just publicly lay out their pen. They said they are not going to class anymore because the government neglected them on their arrears and salary. We can go back to the health center in Liberia. The JFK Medical Center today is under 25 million lawsuit because a specific lady was killed along with a child allegedly by the hospital practitioner. Her family sued for 25, 22 million.
I think you're off tangent. You're going off tangent.
I mean,
So it's not
Yeah,
tangent. Let me just end on this note.
Let me just end on this note
quickly. I literally just came. All of the panelists have had more than 2 hours. Let the guys be very, very much, tolerant to me. But let me end in 3 seconds. In 3 seconds, here is the issues that we have in Liberia should go beyond partisan line. We should be fair. We should be honest with the conditions and the reality. I'm currently in Liberia, and I'll tell you for real, the hardship is exacerbated. Whether you like the regime or not, be honest with the condition. Governance deliverable is poor in all sectors. And this must change, honestly. Okay. And that's where I will end.
Yes, Moses, coming quickly because we'll have to go.
Yeah, let me quickly say this. And Sobo, let me give you the permission. Honorable Breach, I will give Mr. Sobo George the public permission to give you my number and call me. Let's talk. We'll take it from there, okay? I know you have a passion for helping our country, so call me. Let's talk. Okay, now back to this discussion, and let's be honest. Yeah. I do not speak for the Liberian government. I'm not a member of the Unity Party. But the problem of hardship in Liberia, the problem of unemployment, I'm talking about individuals who are literally searching for jobs on a regular basis. These problems are perennial problems. They are not unique to this administration. Let's do a comparative analysis between the two, the CDC and the current administration. How many jobs did the CDC create in Liberia? How did the CDC leave Liberia? This administration inherited a shattered economy. When these people came to the leadership, you could better go to the Southeast. You used $50 million to run campaign. You did not create jobs. And you're talking about what? Hardship? Let's acknowledge that there's hardship. I'm not saying this to justify anything. But I think to some level, we can give the administration applause. You can go to Nima today with ease. You can go to Maryland with ease. There are not many jobs. But to some level, I know there's hardship. I have family members who call me on a consistent basis. I do understand. But comparatively, this administration and CDC, they are not comparable in terms of service delivery. The CDC didn't do anything. You got to destroy Liberia. You destroy Liberia. So let's forget this comparison thing yet. You know, I know Mr. Wanto, you know, you are a diehard supporter of the CDC. But let's be honest, this is about nationalism. That's what I would like to say, my people.
Okay,
Josh. And to add on to Moses, Mr. Sandy, honorable man, I just want to make it clear. It is the legislature that sets salary. If people in the economy are making 150 and you cannot change it for the better, don't call the finance minister's name. You the one that can set salary for public officials. If someone in the government is making far above and you are to set the salary and you leave it there and try to shape blames, someone also cover the legislature and know your function will hold you responsible. If you come, you tell the Liberian people that because you are not on committee, and so the speaker is favoring, and so people they put there, they are not competent, and you allow those institutions that so be properly, you should be having proper oversight of, and they are not functioning, will hold you liable.
So let me come in, Sober. I need to respond to him. Sober, I need to respond to him.
Yeah. Please. If you like it, you can sit there one day to debate. Let Sober give us a chance. Then you will know what we know about your function and whatsoever this and that. But
I wish for that.
I would say to you,
don't like what you ran away.
That I don't run away. I'm here every night. You will run.
I wish for that.
I want to say tonight clearly that in practical economics, when cost is reduced on people, that cost that is reduced increases the person's income, money in their pocket. That's bread and butter. If you don't know that, I don't have school to open. If someone takes 7 or 2 days, 2 weeks to go to Grand Jida and pay tens of thousands of dollars, and the person cannot take 7 hours and pay few $1,000s to go, and you say that court is not bread and butter, then of course I'm not going to teach Econ 101. Because the fact is, while it is true that lots more need to be done, the availability of the services, the easy access increase, trade. When trade increases, what happens is money turns around. When money turns around, you know what happens? The economy has expanded. More people got access to job. It could be in the informal sector, it could be in the formal sector. That's economics. We all went to school. Sometimes we sit on the radio, we try to hide our this. But if you want to be critical, we can go into critical nature of economics. I can't. We can sit down, we discuss it.
Okay. Discuss
you should allow the report though, because people should not propound concepts that are far from the reality.
We are all
Gentlemen, 1 minute.
Come here. You can bring 1 minute.
I'm the driver. Gentlemen, I'm the driver.
You think that DP said
Representative Mulva, let's hear from you.
All right.
So that will between them.
I'm a public policy expert. I'm very good at public policy. Let me say this. You got what we are under the umbrella of democracy. And in democracy, the state we run is a unitary state. Under the unitary state, we have 3 branches of government. No one branch should have absolute control. So when you talk about the House of Legislature, you should be also looking at the executive. The trouble here is the executive. The executive tries to control the other 2 branches in all government. Not only the Unity Party government. Under CDC, they have what we call CDC caucus, right? They have about 55% of the under CDC. Under the Unity Party, you keep with the same old law. You keep with the same old law, the traditional thing. You have what we call the Rescue Caucus, and you produce a regime speaker. There's nothing like legislative freedom that they have now.
Lazy.
Yeah, nothing different when you're talking about law. The only way we have law and go through law is when we have a fair play, when we have neutrality, when we have a speaker who is neutralized. Who is that?
It's independent.
You have a regime speaker.
You have independence.
You hijack the House of Legislature, which is wrong. You breach the unity of the two branches. That's what you did.
So,
come in,
Mr. We say, come in.
I told my mom, I told my mom, people. What I'm telling you, you said we had the
Honorable Moda.
You talk about role. What the role you face?
Yeah, my man, it's kind of MTA can go Maryland, grandchildren, man. Don't support the boy, they're trying.
Honorable MTA went Maryland one time for the PRC.
That was at least something, man, went to.
One time,
yes, at least. At least that was something. My man, we have regime speaker doing the CDC time, and we still did what we're supposed to do. My point is, we need to have a like mind. The speaker, we have regime speaker CDC time.
Otherwise, you did. We have to reform. They were all errors.
So there is something very deceptive in John's statement. And please give out a chance 1 minute that said it. He spoke about the economic theory.
I'm coming there. 1 minute. 1 minute. Mr. Wise. Let's hear from Mr. Wise.
Listen.
Mr. Wise,
to hijack the show. So, it will not happen here. This is not an attack center. Yeah, so to speak. You know,
Mr. Wizard, he left the show for telling me to come by to my attack center. But what went on not showing a face beautiful?
I'm saying we will not allow the show to turn into an attack center. That's what I said.
Don't say that. That lawmaker in here, now attack center, we're talking here. London, you get attack center there.
Look at my point. I started by saying that Minister Gapua, he was teaching every student who sits in the at the same time.
1 minute. Robinson, bridge for this 1 minute. Let them speak. That meant time to speak. Go ahead, Mr. Wise. Mr. Wise, go ahead.
Yes, speak. Okay, fine. So I was saying that the minister was teaching and he taught clearly. But not all students who sit in the classroom understand the lesson at the same time and at the same level. We talk about bread and butter. The minister made it very, very simple and clear. You can only get bread and butter when you have infrastructures in place. And that is so simple. But we see people who we expect to compete very economically from the positions they occupy, and are not doing that. And I will still come here and say the government is not doing anything. If you are the lawmaker who have oversight or even the very salary that people take, and you sit there and do nothing, and then the minister is telling you, in our government, nobody is making like 150 below, then you sit and say nothing is happening in the country. When you reduce costs, I think they said rightly, you allow the people to be active and get money in their pockets to go. We talk about hardship here in this government. I think the president and his team are addressing the fundamental structures that will make people to get bread on their tables. All the concession, how are they helping the young people instantly? We're talking about them. Don't hang fruit here. So let's face the rules. Forget about all the concession thing. It has been all along, and people are still suffering. connect all the counties, have a stable electricity, have real infrastructure in place. People will divert their attention from government, and there will be business owners in Liberia, and there will be no issue of somebody not getting food or that. And that is the teaching the minister was just doing right now. And you are still talking about you are in the house and people are not recognizing you, and you are not doing this one. We are not going to that.
Gentlemen, I know we'll come to Mr. Wanto, but before then, let me just announce my numbers. I know we may not, or we may, it takes a few calls because we have, we've gone overboard. Let's just, agree to just end at 11 o'clock. So 0778-460-793. We just have to do it. It's just, it's about 10:44 already. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better still, 0886-540-987. Mr. Wanto, you can come in.
Great. I'll show my face. Honorable, you already see my face.
Mr. Wanto, let me take this call quickly. Let me take this call.
All right, no problem.
Hello? Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, my name is Moses Rich Corey Jr. and I do join you from Single Bell, 12th Street.
Okay.
Yeah, firstly, I would like to applaud my big brother in studio there, who is George Kennedy. Yeah, I want to say this. We will always applaud the Unity Party government and the CDC government. I'm a Keke Rider.
Okay.
I understand that during CDC time, for people moving around was very, very tough. But at least now we can run, we see what we want for. At least we found security all around Monrovia protecting us. But firstly, when you come out in the night, you will find group of gangsters will just jump on you, they take care, or they arrest you to take all of your money. It's not happening now. We are working, we are seeing what we are working for. We are not forced to work in government. It's not everybody who will work in government. Let us understand that lawmaker will just sit and just talk as Cara Gray. You're not fooled.
Okay.
You're lazy.
Okay.
The lawmaker is not going to lazy in studio.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Hello? Yeah, let's hear from you.
Yeah, let me say hello to your panelists. My name is Lincoln T. Lincoln from District 8, Mosul. Yeah, first of all, give it all to the government of Liberia, and they are making strides.
Okay.
With the connection, with the connection to other countries that were not accessible. I think this weekend, not too long, I was in Israel before the 26th, and that was very much. I mean, encouraging on my part because it has been so long that it has been cut off for me to go that pay up to 15 to 16,000. But thank God for the government. But what I want to say on the bread and butter issue, thank God two legislators are you please address the issue of the minimum wage bill. That minimum wage bill, I'm not sure what engineering. That minimum wage bill you're set by the 50 day. You can't have somebody who is a professional making say that 50 cents a day. And you gotta revisit that. Address the bread and butter issue, especially for the House of Legislature. Thank you very much.
Okay, many thanks. Let me get the call on the line quickly. Good evening. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to all of the panelists on the panel tonight. This is William Harvey, and I joined this conversation from pretty much around the country.
Okay.
Well, let me appreciate all of you. Look, it's so disappointing to hear one to discussing the economy or analyzing the finance minister in the podcast and regarding bread and butter issue of the economy. Look, you heard the finance minister tell you that they are making progress. It is where they want to see it. No, but it is better than before. When they say before, it means your region. This is not the finance minister that is telling the people that he has taken 27 million people out of poverty. That's been theoretical, right? It's explaining practical economy, talking about the role, farm to market role, talking about tapping up civil servant salary, paying civil servant on time, that they will be able to buy from the market here. Look, I think the finance minister is making progress, but we, as Liberians, we tell him that yes, you need to beat up by maybe increasing job creation and other things. And when it comes to job creation, look, This is everybody's issue. It is not only because of the government. We have former government officials who have money that they need to invest in the country, but even a mini factory or a company that is employ Liberian, but all of them took the money, they lay it in the bank and in foreign bank.
Okay.
Why those people making profit with it? They refuse to invest in the country, and all of the time we say government create job. How you want the government to create job? Only the government will go beyond foreigner to take their money and can invest it. Yeah. Why the Liberian people who have money they take it and put it in bank? I think we all need to be honest and be true to ourselves.
Okay.
All of our political leaders to come and invest in this country.
Okay, many thanks. Yeah, many thanks. Let's take this call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
My name is Arten from state of Georgia calling. Let me ask Representative Monuba. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, he's listening to you.
Yeah, listen to you.
Yes, I would like to ask Representative Monuba this question. Is he working in a different government outside Liberia or working as one of the apprentice representatives in Liberia? If yes, what does he think is his role? You know, instead of telling us what they are doing in the inside Capitol building, he needs to tell us what he's doing. Because Ellen King, we saw what they are doing. We are King, we saw what they are doing today. We need actions. Liberians are tired with theory. Liberians are tired with too much talking. If the salary is delayed in 2 months, Representative Mumba will be shouting, will be talking. If it's benefit delayed, he will be talking. But what happened to let people from where he's representing them? We need practical action. We are tired with theory. We're tired with lectures. We need action. It's been too long. So let me answer if he's actually working with the government outside Liberia or he's working in a government in Liberia with one of the branches in Liberia.
Okay. Many thanks. Many thanks. You'll respond to that. Let's take this call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
This is Gonga Nunsi. I call from the JMB and JDK Dream for Better Liberia Foundation. Right. Let me say hi to your studio guests.
Okay.
One of our major problems in this country is the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives is the major problem, and I will say this for what would be the reason. You will realize that it is the House that set the check and balance. And when we say check and balance, the Committee on Finance and Banking will cite the Finance Minister and understand what are some of the proceedings. The Committee on Agriculture, on state enterprises will do the check and balance on the various agencies. What is Monuba telling us? What is the blueprint they have as a legislature? What is the law that is legislating for the various sector? What are they getting? What are the feedback they're getting from those sector? You should be telling us. If you're not getting improvement in the agriculture sector as a lawmaker, tell us on the radio. You don't go there and try to say that bread and butter. If you know that investment should be in the RO sector, how many $1 million you are budgeted to create a job there? How much incentive you people getting for metal steel that will create jobs? Tell us. You are a lawmaker. You said the board to rule. If you're not doing your work, you don't come to criticize. Okay? You are criticizing instead of you give it all what you are playing for the year-end legislative proceeding, but you're not telling us anything. So you are the problem. The legislature is the problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take this call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Sobo, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Segu Favana is my name in Baji.
Okay.
Sobo, if you come to CDC and United Party, there is no match. United Party is way far from CDC, but in relation to the just issue you talk about, because it's permanent to everybody. Sobo, the judge will say, like for me, I wanted the campaigner to bring Edu Kuma back, because Sobo, let me say, people always use the competence and the credibility, also, people qualify more than AB, but AB have integrity. There is difference between integrity and qualification. People are qualified. You know how many qualified Liberians here today? They are being compromised. But in order for us to succeed in the further of trust me, if you man come back, trust me, the whole accident account they eat their own and go. Christopher Peter after AB Kuma, that one can't eat enough. Resign by himself. Then they put the people there, so they finish do their own again. They finish lead that one there. That I don't know what them what they give. 3 more is too plenty for ORC. 3 more, 1 more support is someone that gets credibility, integrity. When they put you to DEA in 1 more wish, because you compromise.
Okay.
So for President Walker, I beg you, be able to come up, but although I will succeed in the 40 of John. So
okay, many thanks. We'll take only 2 more calls and then wrap it up. Good evening.
Good evening, Slava.
Yes,
and
sir.
Good evening to your Slava to your studio guest.
Okay.
There are 2 things I want to quickly discuss. One, I listened to one of your guests talking about the power of the executive and so forth. Yes, we agree. The executive has something called the coercive power and power of the purse, because the authority within the executive is constituted only in one person, who is the president. But the legislature itself has 3 cardinal responsibilities: lawmaking, oversight, and representation. Now, somebody tried to clearly educate one of our lawmakers. Look, Slobot, even the issue that we're talking about drugs today, if the legislature wants the issue of drugs to end today, they can make it. It doesn't have to be the president. And what they put to understand is that once a government comes in place, the law said 3 branches, 3 separate branches and coordinated, but it becomes one to work in the interest of the Liberian people. Okay. They do the appropriation. We keep saying that no money, DA get money. What is the legislature doing when the budget goes to them? Don't they look at the DA budget and know that $3 million are there for DA? And then they want to put it back on the lap of the president. The legislature can say to today, we give DA $50 million to make sure that we fight drugs. It will happen. They can instruct the executive to find the resources to make sure that we fully fund the DA and make sure we fight drugs. But because everybody they're playing politics, some of these guys go in there, they don't even know they're left to their right. They're paying them free money.
Okay.
Let's be realistic. These people have to get up and do their work.
Okay.
Not to wait for 6 years, they go out there and make fake speeches.
Okay, thank you. Let's take the last caller. We're not going to take calls anymore. We're going beyond time. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Guess Kibro Woman from a tradition of this evening. I mean, say 10 to tier 1 to what do tier 1 to I mean, say other 10 to member bring mensa. No, the representative has said it all. And it's just clear. There are some people in executive that make more money than they don't make up. But even in the morning, we wake up in the morning, we just say, look at the president just buy 1 million car in the midst of that struggling Liberian. He bought $1.7 million car. And don't forget, the president and the representative, all of them were elected the same way. So what point get me using the money?
Who getting the money?
Accusing other people.
Who get the president the money? That the lawmakers get the money. Who get the president the money? That money was not in the budget.
But the president
so, man, we have to come by now. What get the money? That the finance minister and the finance ministry, they sat down. Everybody carry their budget to them. Then they put in one book and send it to us.
Let me call them, please. Y'all get a color change. Let me call them.
Yeah, give me tell. You want to reduce people. You want to tell people so he's angry. You're not married. Be defending the guy. It's so unfortunate. These are the guys who get in all the parliament that's why the poor need. This is among the good people. So we know that you want to justify the electing from the government.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. Thank you, Muglo. Gentlemen. 1 minute. 1 minute. Please, 1 minute.
I'll clarify some of these things in the caller.
Gentlemen. We're going far beyond time, please.
I need about 2 minutes. Let me clarify something with the caller.
I come. We shall end the show at 10:30.
Someone, you want your current to go off, eh? Someone to go over.
I think just a minute, please. A minute.
Let me start with my minute because I was in flight before. Let's be honest in this discourse. I came on air. I came on video purposely, not because Honorable Brace told me that I should come, but I came
me for you.
All right, no problem.
Now 1 minute.
George, to be clearly. Look, first of all, Moses came and said Moses laid out that CDC spent 50 million on campaign. There's no evidence to that.
50 million.
Yeah, if we ask you to provide evidence, you won't. We shouldn't be having this kind of talking point on national station. The other aspect here is that comparatively, United Party did more than CDC. Let's talk about the economic deliverable. The NAMO report basically lay out failures in government, zero prosecuting power, less than 10% of impact in almost 2 years on the United Party, zero infrastructure project on the very United Party. But beyond that, the Minister of Finance lay out, you spoke about the economic deliverable, which is very interesting to talk about. The Minister of Finance on a public media said that there is gross salary around 150. Before that, he argued that no Liberian will make around 150. Today, in internal affairs, there are Liberians.
Okay, Mr. Wanto, you've already made your point. Yes, who's the next? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, quickly.
Because after this is my closing, right? For me, when I'm
you already ended. You already ended. You can't take more than 1 minute. You can't take more than 1 minute. Mr. Who said at a time? Who said at a time?
So you're not doing me justice. You going.
No, I'm doing justice now. You had 2-3 hours to come on the show.
All right, I recommend you have this. We'll
have it Monday. We'll have it Monday. Yeah, Monday. Yes, go ahead.
My brother wanted to come on Monday all the time to defend CDC that failed the Liberian people miserably in the country. But to the issue, I want to say thank you to all of the callers, especially those of them who addressed their concerns to Honorable Mobile, who was on the show.
You know what we here for?
Let me conclude.
I need to just throw some emphasis on the callers.
Man, I have to let me learn, please.
Go ahead. A party sentiment.
Thank to the callers, especially for those of them who made emphasis on the lawmakers' position tonight. These are people who they expect to be speaking for them and making sure that the issue of bread and butter is properly sorted out. Not to come to the show and be complaining the same way they are also complaining. And let me say kudos to Minister Gafon for being an amazing teacher, for providing a simple free 30 hour to most Liberians who didn't exactly understand what it means and talk about bread and butter. We want to encourage the DA and the Liberian government to continue the fight against drugs. And I mean, honestly speaking, we are going to win this fight.
Yeah, just said one minute. You just said 1 minute. Representative Briggs, let's quickly.
See you again another time. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's hear from you, man.
Yeah, Honorable.
So again, when the public call and shift everything on us, I don't blame them. I blame ourselves. First of all, we don't do budget. The budget is prepared by the finance ministry. They come and they call various lines ministry. They come with their presentation on what they want to do and what amount they want to see in the budget. The last time we saw them taking picture after the budget hearing at the finance ministry, they were taking picture. So what we do is, and that is what I've told my colleague, normally they just put any amount there for us. So when it comes to us, maybe they have 2 million for National Port Authority, FPRC maybe 1 million, FTA maybe 5 million, and then we come and look at what they can raise. And then we tell them, LTA, you have to do 10 million. From what we see your budget plan, you have to do this. The same way, we tell the port you have to raise 5 million. And then that projection, the additional money we add to the budget, that's what we try by all means, sitting with the finance ministry and us, depending if the health or Ministry of University of Liberia or education, then we add to it. So like I told my colleague, what can we do our budget the same way and submit it to finance ministry? Because normally my budget can any kind of way, we carry up and then people believe us and say, oh, yes, because and they deliberately do it. The executive is very crafty. So because we don't submit our budget to them, so they know we're supposed to have like maybe 32 or 40 million, or so they think like 14 million. Because they believe that you're going to add it. So we will do it now. The public look at us like we're carrying the last. Someone tell the last time. People tell you we eat all the budget. We got all the money from the budget. But we don't even have correct 10% of the budget.
Okay.
But the public believe that we're making all the money.
Yeah,
I can tell it to you.
I know, Madam Rabbi, you exhausted your one minute. Representative Molba.
Yeah, let me just Zob. I'll just have to go on two fronts. You never gave me you never gave me the time to respond to those callers. Please, I just need to everyone here, please.
The London and the American ball will protest today.
Let's go with it 1 minute. Let me clarify. Let me make this clear. When we talk about brand butter, we are looking at so many concerns. The issue of infrastructure, road, whatsoever, they are not a specific achieving rate for brand butter. So the terminology what happened with Namibia? What happened with Botswana? What happened with Burundi? They are developed country, they have infrastructure, but yet still the people are suffering. So let me just make this in nutshell. When we talk about bread and butter in economic, we are referring to the living of our people, their life, inflation, employment, job, schools. That's what we're referring to, bread and butter.
Okay. You exhausted. Moses, can we hear from you? Your parting comment quickly?
Yeah, quickly. I just want to say thanks to all of the panelists, including our two representatives, Representative Mema Briggs Mensa and Representative Morba. It was a pleasure having the both of you.
Thank you.
This is an open challenge that I would like to throw out to Mr. Tier Wanto. Or maybe Tier Moses Seni, you don't know this name. I'm a media guru, well read too. Before I make a statement, I do research. I would like for a server to arrange a debate. Let's do a comparative analysis. The CDC and the Bwaka administration. I do not speak for this administration, but I will come to speak as a journalist. Let us schedule a debate. Let you and I appear and discuss. Let's do that critical analysis. Thank you. It was a pleasure, guys.
Okay, George.
Yes, thank you. I will not go to Wanto again because Mr. Sandy was already there with that. But I want to let my honorables to know that in line with our they are our honorables. I said our honorables. Every one of you, even those that are not listening, those that are not on the show, but they're listening outside there. That in line with our laws, the budget process begins with the executive, line ministries and agencies through the Ministry of Finance. When they submit it to the lawmakers, that the legislature that can set the budget.
Yeah,
it is not to send to you the way they send it to you, you pass it. You the one can do the various adjustment. They call it appropriations.
Yeah, you go for hearing.
Listen to me. Executive is answerable to you on the budget.
Yeah, then negotiating, which is wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Negotiate the budget. They call it debate. We have the right to negotiate.
We are what? Avoid the lawmakers.
We will have to go.
I can be a better lawmaker than you.
Let me come in quickly. We have to go.
Go to election and win. Go to election and win.
Representative Morba, Representative Briggs, and the rest of you, I want to thank you for being part of this weekend of the program.
But man, George, how you start to be about? George, how you start to be about?
Until the George is my name, let's have a pleasant night. Have a pleasant night. Play your team. Play your team.